and my family. Now that it's all clear, emancipation here, get slavery out of the way. Baden, Peteress and Princess, King's Hill, Bethlehem and Oakland, Coble, Jealousy and Boone, they banded together to reach Western before noon. So long in slavery, so long control me, take away my dignity, my friends and my family. Now that it's all clear, emancipation here, get slavery out of the way. Fed up and they're frustrated. It's high time that this slavery done with. Tired and suffering, they plan to do something like fire and brimstone, man, see how they imagine. So long in slavery, so long control me, take away my dignity, my friends and my family. Now that it's all clear, emancipation here, we get slavery out of the way. With mashers, lantern and bow sticks, they come into port and to the bullwhip. They might make up, enough is enough. They come into call and show to big love. So long in slavery, so long control me, take away my dignity, my friends and my family. Now that it's all clear, emancipation here, we'll get slavery out of the way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What is up and what is going on? Salute to everybody that comes through in the building. Smash that like button. Please hit subscribe. Your boy Maki Dan is all the way up to 447 subs. We on that road to 500 and getting partially monetized. You already know, man. Salute to everybody that's already in the building. I already see my brother, my big brother BVO, my STN brother. Shout out to the whole Sports Talk Network. Smash the like button once again. I'm gonna keep saying it. Shout out to my girl Vacay Bay. Always first, always in the building, always showing me support and love. Always let me post my links. Go check out Vacay Bay's channel. She talks about a whole array of topics from movies, drama, whatever you have it, man. She talks about it over there. Okay. Hope everybody has been good. Hope everybody has been safe. We got a couple of topics to break down in here today. But the first thing I want to get into before I get into any of the more major political topics. Team USA, the FIFA World Cup, the dream came to a tragic end. I think what day was the match? I think it was either Monday. No, it was Tuesday the 7th. It was brutal to watch. We were not prepared to come out there and play with this Belgium team. This Belgium team, which themselves have not looked like they've been running at peak efficiency, through the entire tournament. They had a draw with Iran. They had another draw with another team. I can't think of their names. But then they came out, I believe it was against, oh my gosh, my memory is failing me right now. I think it was against, golly, my memory is failing me right now. But Belgium, they came to play, man. They just put foot to ass. And it was brutal to watch. This all comes with the backdrop of Donald Trump coming out and cheating for the U.S. team. So to give the people some breakdown and some background into what happened exactly there, one of our best players, don't get me to lie or don't make me say the man's name wrong, but just know he's a great player. He got a red card in an earlier match for a bit of a dirty tackle that he pulled off on a player. And the rules in major association football is if you get a red card, you not only do you get tossed from that game, you have to serve a mandatory 1-game suspension. That did not happen in that case. Donald Trump came in, made a phone call to the FIFA president, and said, hey, bump that shit. Let our boy play. And so the FIFA president and whatever, he said there was some regulatory board, I don't believe a word out of his mouth. They said they came to the judgment that, we're going to suspend the suspension for a year. Well after the tournament would be over, which is just all types of, I've never heard nothing like that in my entire life watching sports. We're going to suspend the suspension. And then here's the orange guy talking about this just briefly.
The other way, if they beat us, we'll say I say it was rigged, just like the election was rigged in 2020. But if you look at that game, there were 10 instances where it was much rougher than that. So I think it starts with the fact that it shouldn't have been a foul. And then you have to look at the person that raised the card, and that's up to you people. You look at. But I didn't think it was very good because it was not good. And I think that Johnny is brilliant at what he does. And I think I don't think it was his decision. It's a big committee. And after reviewing it, I think they said, look, this game would have a big mark on it. If we lost, if we won, no matter what happened, you have to let them use their best players. And the game tonight's going to be amazing, and we're going to have a full team, and Belgium's going to have a full team. And you know what? If they beat us, then they can be really proud. The other way, if they beat us, we'll say I say it was rigged, just like the election was rigged in 2020, but I won't get into that.
This guy is literally a fucking cartoon character. You could not, matter of fact, you couldn't even draw up or write up a character like a Donald Trump. This, I mean, literally. And like, I always think his brain is put in, but you saw the sharpness in Trump right there. He said, and if we lose, I'll say it was, and then he realized, wait, no, but then he said, oh, you know what, screw it. I'll say it was rigged, just like I said the 2020 election was rigged. We went out there and got our asses tore up. And Donald Trump has not had a word to say since. This is what happened to us.
Kurt Russell, what's going on? They're raping me! They're raping me! Get out of there, Kurt Russell!
Why did you rape me?
Baltazar, you can't say shit like that. Hey, stop.
Just brutal. Just brutal. I mean, it was just a complete lack of nuts, in my personal opinion. A complete lack of nuts. Now, outside of this one little, well, I ain't gonna call it little, but this one just blatant and brazen episode of corruption. It's been a great tournament. It's been a great World Cup thus far. I mean, it's been tragic. We've seen a couple legends fall. We just saw Neymar for Brazil. He lost to the rising phenom from out of Norway, Mr. Haaland. They lost 2-1. Neymar scored his final goal in international football. He then immediately announced he was retiring at the ripe age of 34 years old. Then we obviously had Cristiano Ronaldo, an absolute GOAT. I don't give a fuck what not one person says. Anybody try to disrespect Ronaldo, to me, is going to have problems. Ronaldo is Timothy. It's just one place he could never win. And that was the FIFA World Cup. And unfortunately, he lost to Spain. And then yesterday, we saw an absolute classic with Lionel Messi in Argentina, where I thought it was over. I thought Messi had lost his nuts. Early on, Egypt went up 1-0. Then there was a bit of a frivolous penalty that was called on Egypt, and it lined it up. You already know who's stepping up to kick the penalty shot, Messi, and it got blocked. Okay, Messi is usually a 10 for 10 when it comes to his making penalty shots. Can't nobody block Lionel Messi. So I thought it was over with. I thought that the nuts had gone out of Lionel Messi. I thought he just lost it. But no, I mean, after like the 84-minute mark, they went on to score 3 goals inside of 10 minutes. I mean, just unbelievable. Just like this Belgium team. This Belgium team that packed our fudge in the other day. They were down 2-0 to Senegal and came back to score 2 goals inside of 3 minutes. So just special stuff we've been seeing this tournament. And tomorrow we are going to get another treat with France taking on Morocco, their former colony. Morocco being the last African/Muslim team in the tournament. So they're really the last bastions for Palestine. So obviously I'm rooting for Morocco, but at the same time, I mean, that French team, it's just nothing but killers. They got Corolla, they got Dembele, who's an absolute killer for Paris SG. And then obviously they got Kylian Dictator, they got Dictator Mbappe. Let me find a picture. Another thing I've been loving from this FIFA World Cup, the memes have been going crazy, bro. They got memes with Mbappe lined up looking like he's one of the dictators from our world. They got him lined up with Putin and Xi Jinping and Kim Jong-un. They got Osama, Mbappe. I mean, just some wild memes. I mean, but either which way, like I said, this has been an extremely fun tournament to watch. And you know, you got to cherish these things because these things only come once every 4 years. I'm gonna be 30 years old the next time the FIFA World Cup comes around. So I'm absolutely cherishing this. But moving on from the destruction of Team USA, and shout out to VKB in the chat, we got to move on to the breaking news of the week. It is official. Donald Trump has announced that the ceasefire with Iran is over. Yesterday, the U.S. forces, they launched 80 strikes on 80 different targets in Iran. Today, it's being announced that more strikes have followed. Iran responded by launching strikes with drones and missiles on Bahrain and Kuwait. And now, also, Donald Trump has categorically stated that the memorandum of understanding, the agreement that was reached between Iran and the United States, is officially over. He said he's done with it. Part of the memorandum of understanding was that all military operations were supposed to cease. Another aspect of it is that Iran was supposed to get sanctions removed from its oil industry so that they can go out there and sell oil and bring in all that income. Oh, here's my brother AC. How you doing, AC?
Man, everything great, man. I was trying to kill myself to get here, man, to get home, bro. But it's great to be here and everything. Let's chop this up.
Well, don't kill yourself to get here. I mean, by the way, I heard you got cheaper subway tickets now. I heard Mom Dami slashed that in half. I mean, Mom Dami just slashing everything. AC. They're gonna start calling them slashing and Mom Dami slashing the rents, slashing the subways. Subway fares, slashing the deficit. I mean, just beautiful to see. Socialism at work. But AC. I was just discussing. Are you into soccer? I was talking about the FIFA World Cup. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm into it somewhat and everything. I'm not a real big football fan, as they would say.
Well, what happened this week is one of our key players for Team USA got booted. He got a red card, and what that means is he gets booted from the game, and he's suspended for at least one game. Donald Trump got on the phone with the FIFA president and said, let our boy play. And he allowed, and what they went ahead and did is they said, okay, we're going to suspend the suspension for a year. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard in all my time watching sports. I've never heard of a procedure to suspend the suspension. And what ended up happening, even though that boy played, we got absolutely violated by Belgium. It was brutal to watch. It was brutal to watch.
Kurt Russell, what's going on? They're raping me! They're raping me! Get out of there, Kurt Russell!
Why did you rape me?
Baltazar, you can't say shit like that. Hey, stop.
It was brutal to watch, AC. Just brutal. And then this orange fat guy, I mean, listen to the shit he said before.
The other way, if they beat us, we'll say I say it was rigged, just like the election was rigged in 2020. But if you look at that game, there were 10 instances where it was much rougher than that. So I think it starts with the fact that it shouldn't have been a foul. And then you have to look at the person that raised the card, and that's up to you people. You look at. But I didn't think it was very good because it was not good. And I think that Johnny is brilliant at what he does. And I think I don't think it was his decision. It's a big committee. And after reviewing it, I think they said, look, this game would have a big mark on it. If we lost, if we won, no matter what happened, you have to let them use their best players. And the game tonight's going to be amazing, and we're going to have a full team, and Belgium's going to have a full team. And you know what? If they beat us, then they can be really proud. The other way, if they beat us, we'll say I say it was rigged, just like the election was rigged in 2020, but I won't get into that.
I mean, imagine he just can't help himself.
Yeah.
He just cannot help himself.
And before we move on any further, I just wanted to give a big shout out to the Islamic Republic of Japan.
Huh?
I said I just wanted to give a big shout out to the Islamic Republic of Japan.
The Islamic Republic of Japan. What the hell do you mean by that?
I guess you didn't see what this man said.
Oh, yeah. I saw that shit. I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man's brain is pudding.
Yeah, bro. 111 missed. It was 11, bro, not 111. Like, wow. That's just bananas, bro. But the mere fact that he stepped in with that, I mean, it's supposed to be in the fun spirit of sportsmanship for the leader of the country to come in and do something like that. It's like, yeah, as an American, I'm happy America got their ass whooped too. I mean, you want to have American pride, especially, with something like football, because out of our sports, this is like, besides boxing and a couple other sports, it's like one that's really, really global, and it carries like a lot of national pride behind it. And it's just like, as an American, what can you be proud of right now? Like,
Nothing.
Like, what am I proud of right now? Like, seriously, other than that, that's just the way you have to look at it. And I'm quite sure there are probably a lot of Americans who like were rooting for America to win, and then when he stepped in, they was like, all right, he fucked it up. I don't even care no more.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Hitler viewed football back in the day, where he was like, Hitler was more into cars. Like, he was more into having the fastest cars, because that was, the whole thing with German engineering. And I can't remember the name of the pilot, but he was breaking all type of records back in the days before Audi, back when the days when Audi was actually the auto workers union. And was Mercedes? Was it Mercedes? Was Mercedes? I think it was. And
yeah.
They
Mercedes
had the private
and
industry
BMW.
Mercedes.
Yeah, the early ones
Yeah.
were Mercedes, BMW, and Porsche.
No, I don't think Porsche came. I don't think Porsche actually came until
After
until the
Volkswagen.
70s.
Yeah. They came a little later.
Yeah, it was Volkswagen. So yeah, he had them pitted off against each other because that was more easy to control. Whereas Hitler just hated football. I think Trump is just feeling like, it would have been nice. I could talk all this shit. I could say it was thanks to me that we won. And now he just doesn't give a shit. He hasn't even talked about the absolute graping that happened to us. It was brutal. And then, shout out to my brother, Aircraft Carrier in the chat, already trolling. But we're going to move on from the absolute graping that took place. Just brutal.
Kurt Russell, what's going on? They're raping me! They're raping me! Get out of there, Kurt Russell!
Man, South Park was hilarious. I'll never forget that episode. You know what happened in that episode, AZ? There was like some imaginary world came up that and it was like interacting with the real world. And for whatever reason, the military got involved. And they sent Kurt Russell in with a team of Navy SEALs. And they ran into some friendly woodland critters. And then the critters turned on them and started
yeah, I saw the clip of that one. Yeah.
Oh, man, that shit is hilarious. But we're going to move on, AC. We're going to move on. And by the way, this has been a great World Cup. Shout out to the memes from the World Cup, man. Every World Cup always produces its own memes. But this one has truly taken the cake. But moving on. AC, breaking news. After Donald Trump stated over 40 times that the Iran war was already won, it's been announced the ceasefire is over and we are officially back in war. Donald Trump says the memorandum of understanding is dead and gone. He said that these people are sick, that they're monsters. I'll play his comments and then I'll give some more background and comments on that. Go ahead.
Is the ceasefire over? Is the ceasefire done? Is the MOU dead?
It's a very interesting question. To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. We attacked very powerfully last night the very dangerous people from Iran. They're sick. There's something wrong with them. We said, go and do your funeral stuff. And instead of that, they start shooting rockets at ships yesterday. And so we hit them very hard last night, very hard. I would say 20 to 1, 20 times tougher. And I told them every time you hit, we hit. And of course, they're dirty players, so they go after everyone, probably including me. I've been number one on their list for years. And they're a bunch of scum, you want to know the truth. They're scum.
You know, it's every time, like this dude pretends like when he says a word he doesn't say too often, he asks like, "You ever heard of that?" It's like when he talks about the I don't know if you see that shit where he explains how he spells Democrat. You take the E and the out and you put a B and it's Democrats. Like he just talks like it's the most like, man, you ever heard of that? Like, you ever heard of scum? You know what scum is? I'm looking at scum. You're a big, orange, scummy bastard. I wish somebody, let me not say that. But like the level of like every time I hear Donald Trump throw around insults AC, it's like such a level of projection. Sleepy Joe, this nigga falls asleep every other day. Biden in auto pen, didn't know who he was pardoning. This nigga, you ask him, he don't know who the fuck he's pardoning half the time. Then he's talking about they're sick, violent, nasty people. You're as nasty as it gets if you read those Epstein files. And you kill more people than these Iranians can, than any terrorist group combined. But, to this, Iran has responded. They bombed Kuwait. They bombed Bahrain. They've even released footage of them bombing our bases over there, which have already been pretty much destroyed. Then Donald Trump again announces this afternoon he's going to be striking. He announced this afternoon that more strikes were carried out, and the Brent crude and the West Texas intermediary, both benchmarks have jumped by about $5 to $6, and experts are predicting that it's going to continue to rise. So, before I come to you, AC, I try to find the words to further just paint how I feel, but I think these past couple of weeks / months, I've already stated pretty equivocally how I feel about the orange guy and this entire war. We're screwed because we don't have the leadership that is competent enough or has the political will to carry out the objectives that Donald Trump even laid out in the beginning. And then on the second part, we do not have the ability to wrestle away control of the Strait of Hormuz from Iran. On top of the fact, Iran has different levels levers of escalation they can go to. I've talked about it for weeks. The Houthis in Yemen, this entire time, they've just been sitting there rearming. They haven't really gotten themselves into the major conflicts. And they can close down the Suez Canal. That's 10% of the world's oil. And then they could also, and then on top of the Strait of Hormuz, that's now 35% of the world's oil. On top of all the premiums that are going to skyrocket by 1,000% for shipping cargo and for tankers. I don't see any I really don't see how we get out of this with this level of just intrepid and dumb leadership. And this was on top of the fact I didn't believe this shit would hold anyways, because we had reporting and common sense already told you Netanyahu wasn't gonna let this deal work. He wasn't gonna let it work. And these people, they've already off of the oil sanction waivers that we let them have for a couple weeks, they've already taken in hundreds of $1 million of foreign currency. So we're gonna see what happens. I don't really, again, I've said it many times. I'm gonna say it once again. I don't have an optimistic view of this situation. I don't see how this can get any better from here. But go ahead.
No, it honestly it doesn't get any better from here because the situation is you're dealing with an orange idiot. You can't you can't expect genius from an idiot. And the minute I think people try to try to do that, I think you need to go see somebody because it just doesn't work. For me, when I look at it, you got into this war because someone asked you for help. That person ain't really saying too much right now. They just sitting back watching you struggle. That's to me, it's like one of your friends coming over, like, yeah, I want you to go help me fight this dude over here, and then you and the dude start squaring up, and you look over, and your man sitting there with with an umbrella, a lemonade, and stuff like that, just chilling. Like, yeah, go ahead, I got your back. If anything get in, like, no, you're supposed to be right here next to me. So at the end of the day, he's just getting played. Everyone knows he's getting played, and people are tired of this war because the results of this war, everyone is feeling it. If you're trying to start a new business, you need major equipment and things like that. The prices are now doubled and tripled. That's what I'm doing right now. I have to go back and redo a lot of my major equipment because all I've gotten is emails of, yeah, we've got price hike. In some of these cases, it's $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 price hike. And that's just the price on raw material, stainless steel and shit like that. And you think like, wait a minute, I thought we made our own stainless steel here. What's going on? No. Since Trump been president, the tariffs and everybody, it went over to other countries. And now they're selling us back the same steel we sold them for double and triple the amount. And that's the art of the deal. Wow. Okay. So this war right now is affecting the commercial sector. And, if people got issues with the millionaire and billionaire class, they're going to start to speak up if they're not speaking up to this man right now, like tapping him on his shoulder and tapping on other Republicans like, look, we're going to deal with this shit until the midterms. After the midterms, this shit is done. This motherfucker out of here. All of this is done. And at the end of the day, man, this guy, you're predicating ending a war with someone who brought you in, and they never gave you permission to tell anybody anything about it. You're not the lead on this, so what you say don't matter. Israel is the lead on this. This is their war. So you can say, yeah, the war is over. Israel gonna look at you and be like, who told you to open your mouth again, money? Stop talking. Stop talking. Now, back to this war. And that's how they sunning Donald Trump. And the American taxpayers are paying for it.
I mean, you make it sound like, in that analogy, you make it sound like Israel's a pimp, and we're Israel's bitches.
Man, if Israel was in I'm gonna get you sucker, Israel would have on a white tiger laced yellow pimp suit with fish tank high heel shoes. And there'd be theme music behind Israel right now. You feel what I'm saying? Talking about hustler. For real. That's what Israel would be doing. They pimping it. They pimping this man. They pimping it. Oh my God. Israel is a pimp called Slickback right now.
Damn. I wish I had a pimp back clip for that. But golly, AC, that's pretty brutal.
For real.
That's pretty brutal. Like, Israel treating this like this right now.
Jump into it.
Sam, there's no...
Jump into this, you idiots. Jump into it. Aggressively. Aggressively.
Boss.
Aggressively.
My God.
Aggressively. Run into it. Stupid boy.
Stupid boy. Or they got us like this right
Donald,
now.
why haven't you attacked Iran yet? If you don't attack soon, I will release the Epstein files.
Okay, BB, I'll do whatever you want.
Just brutal. But before we move on to the grand Platner of it all, AC, I wanted to touch on Israel just briefly because Israel right now is on the path to civil war. Netanyahu I believe just yesterday announced that he was going to defy a Supreme Court order over there in Israel concerning a state-ran media agency. So, and by the way, this is a new thing for Israel or Benjamin Netanyahu. There have been multiple high court orders over there in Israel, instructing the military to facilitate reestablishing Palestinians in the West Bank, and they've just completely fucking like ignored it and told them to kiss their fucking ass and suck their dicks, and we're just gonna keep lording over these Palestinians. But now, I mean, with them just being blatant and upfront with it, there are now fears that Netanyahu, when he loses this November, he might just choose not to acknowledge the election. And then he's going to be backed by Ben Gvir, who, if you don't know who that is, look him up. One of the most despicable, evil human beings you will ever see. A man who proudly advocates for terrorism, genocide, ethnic cleansing, murder. I mean, literally, he was in, after the video came out of Israeli soldiers gang raping a Palestinian boy, a 16-year-old boy, 10 of them on top of this little boy. He went into the Israeli parliament and literally advocated and argued that Israeli soldiers should have the right to grape. I'm not kidding. Like, this is how sick and evil some of these people are. That dude who went in there and advocated for that has complete control of the Israeli police force. On top of the fact, Israel Katz, the defense minister, is in Netanyahu's back pocket and is behind him for all of this. Israel Katz was the one who came out with the idea of putting the Palestinians literally in a concentration camp to re-educate them. A re-education camp. And now, with this man defying the Supreme Court, people are getting ready for civil war over there in Israel. So it's looking like Israel might take care of our problems by themselves. We might be able to give Israel a pat on the back for once, AC.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, for me, it's because here in this country, you've got, a decent handful of Democrats, a decent handful of Republicans. You've got some of the far right and the far left, both acknowledging, or all parties acknowledging that, okay, all right, at this point, what are we getting out of our support for Israel? For all the money that we've been sending this country since 1960, what are we getting for it? And at any point, any person asks, you know what I'm saying? And then it comes down to, all right, when things are tough for me, I got my own family with American people out here doing bad, then it comes to ask, why am I giving you money? And you not doing nothing to help my people out or help my family out. And I'm just giving you money just to give it to you. So that type of arrangement wasn't the type of arrangement that can go on in perpetuity. Like, you just can't do it and then say, yeah, we made this deal and this deal is gonna go for X amount of years or forever, and then we're gonna keep voting on it. And if that's the only thing that we have to worry about is voting on it and extending that, then at the end of the day, when it comes down to where these Republicans want to talk about Medicaid, Medicare, everyone's asking, okay, all right, for that money, that y'all want to keep cutting, why don't you just stop sending money over there for that bullshit and then put it over here? And now everybody can get behind, spending money here. That's no longer our problem. And looking at how they are abusing it, and this particular leader is abusing all of this other stuff. And is abusing the power and the money that we give them, the military. At the end of the day, man, people
AC, you sound like you're underwater.
Oh, for real?
Okay, you back. You better.
Oh, all right. Well, basically, all I was saying was, at the end of the day, people are not happy about. All right, I'm busting my butt over here to make ends meet, and I'm listening to you sending if it's 1.8 billion, or 14 billion, or 10 billion. That's billions of dollars. In my lifetime, I don't even know if I'm going to get $1 billion. And you just sending that $1 billion over there like it's nothing. How about that money stay right here? And this is where I agree with the America First policy. I'm not saying I agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm talking about the people online. I'm not talking about many of these politicians that claim that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not what I think you ran on, and I don't remember you running on that type of stuff, especially at Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's a Tea Party, then she was MAGA, and now she's America First. It's like, lady, I understand women's closets got a lot of, shoes and clothing and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, man, you just can't change your political ideology like you change shoes. So America is tired of it. America is tired of it. America is tired of the wishy-washy, flip-flopping politicians that just want to change their stripe because there's the new political thing to say and a new political movement to try to get down with. So Israel is, your time has come. Netanyahu, maybe not Israel. Let me take that away. Netanyahu, your time has come. Because since you've been in power, things are like, what's going on over there? At least in the past, when there were other leaders, they were willing to negotiate and try to find some sort of reasonable space of coexistence. Since you've been in power and this whole coexistence thing has been around, you've been like, no, and then you put the worst people in place. So it just says you have no good intention. So again, enough with the money going in.
Yeah. And to speak on that, I've read up more on the history of Israel-Palestine, and even though I think Israel settling there, I think it's very similar to what happened to your people. These Palestinians, they were indigenous to that land for thousands of years, and then some Europeans came in and colonized their land and drove them all out and killed a whole hell of a lot of them in the process of that. Okay, even though I think that was a crime, what happened back in 48, the reality is Israel has one of the best air forces in the world. They have nuclear weapons. They have a modern military. We're not going to get rid of Israel. So I support a two-state solution. I support peace between these two regions. You're never going to get to that with a Benjamin Netanyahu and the people like Ben Gvir and the government. It's never going to happen. On that same side of things, Palestinians need to understand that they have been defeated. There is no military option where you're going to deal with Israel and you're going to get all the land back. That's never going to happen. So y'all need to sit down. Y'all need to de-radicalize. And now that I've been hearing that Hamas is going to dissolve itself. They're not going to put down their weapons, but they're going to dissolve their governance over the Gaza Strip, and they're going to allow elections. The people you put in place cannot be the same people from the past. I can't think of the name of that guy from the Camp David Accords who turned down. He went in there wanting 91% of the land back, and Israel offered him 97%. Of the original Gaza and West Bank that was there before it was occupied in 1967, and he turned it down. And then it led to the Intifada and all different types of just awful and miserable shit happening to the Palestinians. Whoever comes in there next, when Israel or rather, because I mean, whoever comes in there next, and then when we get another president, because we're never gonna get to peace or a just solution with this orange retard in place. Whoever comes in there next, you need to take the deal. When they offer you a state with your own borders, your own governance, relief of sanctions, the ability to import your own electricity and fuel and food independent of Israel, you need to take the fucking deal. And stop with all this bullshit. On the same measure, Israel needs to rein in their terroristic criminal military and their terrorist settlers in the West Bank. And everybody needs to just back off and say, listen, I've killed a whole lot of you. Y'all have killed a whole lot of me. Enough. Enough. Because what's going to happen is the next president that comes in, if it's an AOC or a Rahm Emanuel or whoever, somebody that's an anti-Israel person, they don't even need an act of Congress. They don't need legislation to defund Israel. They can do that with the swipe of a pen, because Israel is a nuclear state, is a nuclear armed state, and they're not a signatory to the NPT. Under the I can't remember what the name of the specific act is, but there's a law in the U.S. which says that the president can immediately defund and sanction any state that acquires nuclear weapons and is not a signatory to the NPT. Donald Trump could do it right now if he wanted to, but he's not going to, because obviously he's got the Epstein files hanging over his head, and Netanyahu still has that Trump card in his back pocket. But overall, we're gonna see what happens with Israel. I mean, they seem, for such a small place with only 9 million people, they seem to just be, I mean, literally, I mean, I think that's the population of New York City, isn't it?
New York has 8.8 million.
There you go. For such a small place to I mean, hold the world's attention so strenuously is really amazing. Before we get off of the Israel, I also want to say, it has now been 35 days since excuse me for not updating the caption in this photo, but it's now been 35 days since Sama Safi, a U.S. citizen who was a student in the West Bank, has been kidnapped by Israel without charges. Her family says she has a chronic heart condition and they're not allowing her medication into the Israeli prisons, where on a past episode I detailed like just some of the most horrific treatment I've ever heard in my entire life. I truly pray for this young woman, because if even half of the reports coming out of Israeli prisons are true, and they're right now accusing her of being a member of some student militant group, which I think is absolute bullshit. I think this is a sweet young lady who just went over there to study psychology and to be close to her roots. I truly pray for this young woman that nothing bad is happening to her right now. And then meanwhile, by the way, outside of just this young lady, we've had multiple U.S. citizens that have been killed by Israeli settler terrorists. Literally last year, oh my God, what's his name? Mr. Musat, I'm not going to mispronounce his name, but he was a young man born and raised in Tampa. Ran an ice cream shop for his parents. Came over to visit family in the West Bank and got lynched by settlers. And then the Israeli military prevented paramedics from getting to his body. And meanwhile, while all of this is going on, our ambassador to Israel is out there buying stolen Palestinian land for $1 and not saying a word about this young lady and what's going on with her. So keep this young lady in your prayers, to anybody that's watching, and call your congressman, because this is not right. This is somebody who's one of us. But Moving on, AC. Moving on to the Graham Platner of it all. I mean, this was kind of like I'm not really surprised by this at all whatsoever. Graham Platner, it came out in some breaking news, I believe on Tuesday, I believe on Monday, that Graham Platner was being accused of rape by an ex-girlfriend. We're going to let me play Graham Platner's statement on this. Then I'm going to get more into the context.
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false. Over the last 10 months, I have been deeply humbled by the faith Mainers have put in me. You have welcomed me into your homes, into your places of work, into your restaurants, into your houses of worship. You have shown that a different kind of politics, one that puts the interests of people over corporations, is not just possible, but is inevitable. This movement we have built, the largest volunteer base in the history of Maine politics, the hundreds of thousands of grassroots donors, and the supporters across the ideological spectrum, we were united in a love of Maine, a belief that our politics must change, and a focus on defeating Susan Collins. So, regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality it will inflict, we are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love, the people that I love, the movement I belong to, and the goal of defeating Susan Collins. Those were the goals when we launched this campaign, and they remain my goals today. On June 9th, 154,058 Mainers, the most in primary history, voted to reject a broken politics beholden to Washington and the donor class. They voted for hope, for change, to take back our economy, to take back our power, and to take back our Senate seat. Throughout it all, you never turned your back on me, and I will not turn my back on you now. Every one of you deserves to see that vision come to fruition and see Susan Collins defeated, and we will use every tool at our disposal to do so. As Maine goes, so goes the nation. As always, thank you.
Okay. So just quickly, my thoughts on Graham Platner, and now I'm gonna let it come to you, AC. Graham Platner is, I believe he's a former Marine. I think he served in Iraq and Afghanistan. He is running against Susan Collins, who, despite Maine being a pretty well-defined blue state for a lot of years, Susan Collins has been the Republican senator of Maine for almost 30 years, I believe. And through all of that, or excuse me, I should say, through these recent years, Susan Collins has aligned with Trump on a lot of issues, and the people of Maine are pissed, and they want her out. So with Graham Platner, there has been just one scandal after another with this dude, AC. The first scandal that came out, Graham Platner, a video came out of Graham Platner drunk dancing with his shirt off, and there's a Nazi tattoo on his chest. I don't have the image. I'm not going to show the image because I don't know what YouTube is going to do. Now, he comes out. He says, I was drunk. I was serving. I was stationed in Poland at the time. I wandered into a tattoo shop, and I just saw a tattoo with a skull and some bones, and I got it on my chest. Okay, fine. He says he didn't know what it meant. Okay, I can accept that. Fine, I'm willing to let it pass, even though he never got it covered up. Continue moving around with it for years. I'm gonna just leave that where it is. The next scandal, it comes out that back in 2010, 2012, this man was in a chat room and on Reddit dropping hard N-bombs, talking about black people liking fried chicken and talking about welfare queens and all this whole other good shit. Okay. He said that he was just, that it was a mistake and he's very sorry. I don't believe in cancel culture. I believe people can be really dumb at certain points in their life. I mean, I think everybody has done ridiculous, just foolish things before. Okay, fine. Well, I mean, we're trying to win a Senate seat so that this man could get in there and be anti-Israel and push for our policies on different issues like Medicare for all and checking Donald Trump. Fine. Then, literally the week of the Democratic primary in Maine, the New York Times came out with a report. Multiple women from his past accused this man of domestic violence issues that went unreported. They said that he put hands on them. They said that he would push and shove them. They said that he would stand over them and scream. Terrible. Really bad. And just for me personally, I was done with dude. I said to myself, I'm not gonna advocate for this person. If he wins in Maine, good. If he doesn't win, fine. Like I don't like scumbags at all whatsoever. And I have like a rule. Okay, if it happens once, maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe maybe you know, it's just an anomaly. It happens twice. It happens 3 times. That's a culture. That's who you are, dude. And you have 3 really sketchy scandals attached to your name. Then the big bomba came out this week. His ex-girlfriend has come out and accused him of rape. And let me play the interview she did with CNN where she described what happened. Oh, my apologies. I do not have the video. I thought I had the video loaded. But nevertheless. Oh, no, I think I do have the video loaded. Where is it? No, I do not have the video loaded. Excuse me. I apologize. But nevertheless, she described that she was intoxicated. He was on top of her. He was also intoxicated. She told him very clearly and firmly no. And he continued doing all what he was doing. Then it comes out yesterday, AC. Another woman comes forward and accuses him of sexual assault, but in a different sense. This ex-girlfriend, who he was with, who he was living with in DC from 2013 to 2015, accused him of removing condoms without her consent during sex. Which, you know, you could say, I mean, that's a pretty scumbaggy thing to do. I mean, just overall, it's a pretty scummy thing to do. Is it great, necessarily? No. But is it scummy as hell? Because you are violating that person's consent as well as their security and their trust? Pretty scummy. And then when you compile all of this on top of each other, you have to sit there and ask yourself, do I trust this individual's judgment? Do I trust his integrity? Because we already have a John Fetterman in there. A dude who ran on all this populist, leftist, Medicare for all ideas and bullcrap, stand against the establishment. And look how that shit turned out. So no. I think he needs to be done. We've already seen just about every major Democratic figure withdraw their endorsement from this man. Mamdani, Bernie, AOC, Ro Khanna, Chuck Schumer, everybody in mass has abandoned this dude. And he still has yet to have suspended his campaign and called the race for himself. In the meantime, during all of this, a new guy, Troy Jackson, which, by the way, I want to say, he needs to go. Because I just have a feeling this is not it. I just have a feeling there's more skeletons in this dude's closet. And God forbid, I sent it to you in the text yesterday, AC. God forbid the New York Times comes out with a story in October before the election, stating that this man, when he was in Iraq or Afghanistan, murdered some kids and was laughing and having a good old time and violated some women over there. God forbid. We as the Democrats, we have to have this moral high ground that we check our people. The same way how we checked Eric Swalwell, who, when he was running for governor of California, the Democratic Party cut him and said, absolutely not. You need to pull out, sir. We must maintain this moral high ground. We cannot go to voters and go to people and say, Donald Trump's been accused by 26 different women of rape and he shouldn't be in power, and then we're standing behind somebody who has all these allegations against his name. Absolutely not whatsoever. So, in the meantime, there is a bit of a dilemma. Salute to Sir File Player in the chat. Salute to you. There is a bit of a dilemma since the Democratic primary has already passed. People are Rokana said Troy Jackson, the former Maine Senate president, should step in. I don't think it's going to take any type of secret sauce, AC, to win the state of Maine. I just think it has to be somebody who's anti-Israel, pro-healthcare, anti-Trump. That's really all it is. Anti-war, anti-AI data centers, big corporation. And I think you're gonna beat Susan Collins, who's a shell of herself, who's a skeleton at this point in her life. So yeah, Graham Platner needs to go, but that's my thoughts on it. AC, you texted me about it, you asked me about it. I assume you've done a little bit of your own research on this individual. What's your thoughts overall on Graham Platner and these scandals plaguing his name, and how this might affect our chances in Maine of picking up that Senate seat?
Well, to quote some of the people that I've seen speak about it, overall, Maine can easily be won by just a straight up Democrat who has good policy for Maine and is willing to take on the fight to oust Donald Trump and release the Epstein files and things like that. I think stuff like that are just a little bit more important. I think at the end of the day, what's going to wind up happening is that you may win your seat in 2026, 28. Some of these seats may be primaried again, because what I think is going to happen, especially in some of these places, people want to go with what works. Okay, you can have what would be considered extreme policies. You know what I'm saying? You can tell me popular stuff, but if you don't have a real game plan, real figures and numbers, it's going to get exposed, and that's what's going to piss this current political scene off even more. They can try to do, what the weirdos are doing within the space of Mamdani and stuff like that. Any little thing he does, they try to magnify it to where it's something like, oh, he actually did what he campaigned on. No, he didn't. He hasn't done not one fucking thing this man campaigned on. And that's where I think, why I think people are like trying to blow up what Mamdani is doing on the same level that they try to blow up what Trump is doing, because we're dealing with two extreme sides. And instead of just dealing with the real issue and dealing with the issues the way they're supposed to be, then you get the result that you want. And the result that you want is policy. You can be like, yeah, I want somebody to tell somebody, you know what, fuck you. But yeah, they can tell somebody fuck you, but after that, what policy do they have? What's going to make your life better? Just because you heard them tell somebody fuck you? Like, that's not what's going to move the needle. That's not what's going to get you where you want to go. That's not what's going to, have Congress try to rail in and reel back some of this runaway train stuff that's going on with AI. So I'm completely against the populist candidates. I don't want to hear them on either side, especially in a party that I'm holding dear to myself, and I'm looking at it as the only party that's actually consistent and has a consistent record of passing bills. Graham, you came in off the populist stuff. You talk the same stuff that every other populist is talking, and the young people of Maine bought it because people are desperate for change. Yes, the old system works at times and it doesn't work at times, but you don't throw it out when you don't have anything concrete to replace it. I'd rather have a machine that works half the time than to start out with nothing that doesn't work all of the time. So you got to be careful in who you want to put in place. Because at the end of the day, you can have this small group of people, but this small group of people are not going to be the people that are driving policy. They may be the same people that get in the way of great policy. Examples going back of why child health care, we don't have it anymore, because there was a small group of progressives that voted against it because they wanted more meat and potatoes on another side of stuff. And it's like, look, that side of the business is lying to you. Any of this GMO vegan stuff, that market is lying to you. So if you want to get on that and you really believe fucking pigs and cows are the main reason why global warming is, go ahead and believe that stupid shit. You can go ahead. I don't. Because I know this as a matter of fact, of being in the food industry. Everything requires transportation, whether it's vegetables or whatever. A city cannot grow enough vegetables to feed the city. We can't grow enough vegetables to feed the planet. We can't even grow enough vegetables to feed New York or any one of the single boroughs of the 5 boroughs. And the numbers that I gave earlier, the 8.8 million, that's just the 5 boroughs. That doesn't include upstate. So when you're looking at a candidate and you're looking at the candidate as a person and saying, okay, I see you. The first thing you should be asking is, what are your policies and what are the real life or the real world situation for us to get from A to B? That's how I'm going to vote for you. I'm not going to vote for you because you're telling me when I get to DC, first thing I'm going to do is run up to Donald Trump, put my finger in his face and wag it and tell him, fuck you, Donald Trump. That shit is, people will be, yeah. But at the end of the day, after that happens, what's next? And that's the problem. And that's the problem with why that dude got so much momentum in the first place. He promised you stuff that he cannot deliver. And then he promised these things knowing that he wasn't the candidate to do it. You can't be, if you're talking about judgments of character, and people want to get on Katie Porter because she told an employee, get the fuck out of my shot, get out of my fucking shot. At the end of the day, as an employer, sometimes you got to talk to your employees that way. At the end of the day, why did Gordon Ramsay rise to the stardom he has? And he's not taking any hits. He's actually doing better. The man got award and a knighthood from England. He's like now an English treasure over in England. And what has Gordon Ramsay said nice to any of his employees? It don't matter what they say, it's what they do. So that's the issue. It's really, really distinguishing who's going to give you policy and who's going to give you rhetoric. And I think because so many people are just coming into the political space, they're angry. And you should rightfully be angry, because from the time you were born to the time you're of voting age, this country has been going through bullshit. All kind of stuff. You were a young child when the housing crisis happened. You know, you were a young child when Occupy Wall Street was going on, and the stock market and everything. You're a young child dealing with some of the diseases. You're a young adult dealing with COVID, and now you're here to vote and stuff like that, and you just gotta say, you know what? Let me woosah, let me think about this, and let me approach this thing rationally. I don't want to vote off my emotion. I want to vote off of policy, and that's the Graham Norton or Graham, whatever his name is, effect, because people voted for him off of emotion, not policy, or understanding the man, or doing due diligence on the man. Now, these women came out the same way they came out in the factor of Clarence Thomas, but back then people didn't believe it. They were like, "Oh no, this is the first black man. Why is this black woman trying to tear down the black man?" You know what I'm saying? Okay, now we're facing the same type of situation. Democrats just faced it with Eric Swalwell. I was a person that believed that, was like, that sounds a little bit sketchy there, but if you got to do what you got to do, step down, because it's the perception. Take the moral high ground. Step down. I don't agree to it, but it's got to be done, bruh. You know what I'm saying? To save the party face, so they can't say, well, you know, both parties are doing it. Stop with the boathisms. So if this dude don't want to do it, then you know what, DNC? Since you want to run as a Democrat, cut his funding. You have the ability to just cut his funding because you don't support the candidate. You don't get a penny from us. We're not printing any posters. You want to continue to campaign, you campaign on your own dime and whatever you have left. And in fact, if there's any money left, you need to return that back, or we will charge you for theft of service. Make it known to that man like that, like, we don't want you. And until the Democratic Party or the DNC does something like that, he's still going to be in a race. And Bernie Sanders is not the guy to be telling anybody what to be doing, you know, because you got your own levels of corruption that it just won't be talked about. This is an old guy that's 45 years and same age as Joe Biden, damn near the same age as Donald Trump, but they treat Joe Biden and Donald Trump differently than y'all treat Bernie Sanders. I don't get it, and that's the problem, and that's where it's
what I say about Joe Biden, I feel like people gave Joe Biden a lot of passes in 2020, like when he was having all those gaffes, you know, just showing his age, when he was saying that weird shit about how, I used to, like, he was at the opening of a pool and he said, I used to be the lifeguard and there used to be roaches in the pool and I would have the kids jump on my lap. And then he had that gaffe with Charlemagne the God. You remember when he said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. I feel like people gave Joe Biden a lot of passes. But the problem is, not only that, you had the whole Hunter Biden laptop thing, which people gave Biden a pass for and said was a conspiracy theory at the time. But I feel like the problem is, one, people, their economic situation wasn't good, and they blamed that mainly on Biden. And then two, his mental acuity was just getting worse and worse by the year, where it's just like, we're fucking tired of this dude, and we're gonna start shitting on him. If something like that happened to Bernie, I don't think there's any question. I think that people would turn on him in a second and eat him alive for dinner.
I'm actually seeing that people are going after Bernie Sanders for the thing that I've been going after for him for years. Where's your policy? Stop talking and show me a policy. All your talk means nothing. You're a populist, bro. You stole the progressive movement from Elizabeth Warren and I can't remember the gay politician, but he was part of the Dodd-Frank bill, something Dodd, or Barney Frank. Barney Frank and Elizabeth Warren were the ones who were actually heading up the progressive movement because it was coming off the backs of Occupy Wall Street. Now, when all of that was going on, Bernie Sanders then jumps into the picture and says,
Well, hold on a second, AC. This is one of the problems. SR5 player, I appreciate you always for pulling up, but this is like one of the reasons where I sit back and I'm like, is there even a point in maintaining the moral high ground when you have people like Sir Player who, no matter how many allegations there are against Donald Trump, he will continue to defend Donald Trump to the fucking death. I have a video of Donald Trump bragging about raping Eugene Carroll. Let me play that shit real quick.
I think she said it was sexy, didn't she? It was very sexy to be ripped. Didn't she say that?
So, sir, I just want to confirm. It's your testimony that E. Jean Carroll said that she loved being sexually assaulted by you? And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the pussy?
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely.
Yeah, that guy is not a rapist. That guy is definitely not. That's the cleanest. I mean, I would leave my 9-year-old cousin over there, and I would be so assured that she would be taken well care of, and that it would be just a great time over by Donnie's.
Nah, you don't.
The fuck is wrong with like some of you people, bro?
At the end
do y'all have no stand? Like it makes me like it just pisses me off because it's like, why do we have to be the big people? Why do we have to be the one with standards when these fucking people, they can say whatever they want, they can talk about grabbing women without consent, they can literally say, oh, it was sexy. She said it was sexy to be raped. She said she loved it. She loved it. And they'll still support him to the death, bro. Like, I really don't get it.
Somebody has to do the dirty work, and the dirty work is the moral high ground. That's the dirty work when it comes down to politics and dealing with DC and passing laws. Someone has to say, you know what? At the end of the day, yeah, we could all get down and go down that route and be exactly what, 60s people felt the government was, and then it was the 80s people who felt what the government was, then it was the 90s going into the 2000s what people felt government was and is. And yeah, we could stay with that trend since the 60s that says government is bad and government is doing all of this crazy stuff and all of these Illuminati type entities and stuff like that, and enemy of the states type of things and all of that. Yeah, but that also, the two things can be true at the same time. Yes, government can be extremely bad, with the example that we're looking at with Donald Trump. With some of the examples, we can go back to the Bill Clinton era. But at the end of the day, what happens is government still has to work for the people. If government crashes, we can't govern ourselves. We can't even have a discussion with 10 people on the same panel and just have a decent discussion. You gotta weed through those type of people who are calm and collective and can deliver that. So this is the issue. Government doesn't always work, but it works for me at a 60-40 type of rate, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
To be clear, to
millions
file
and millions of people. That's different. And to look at what Donald Trump is doing and try to compare it, it's like, what part of manhood do you represent? Like, what type of dude are you? Like, at the end of the day, I have to ask myself, if you're a person who's supporting this type of stuff from Donald Trump, could I actually sit across from you and pass you my blunt, or we go to a bar and we have a drink together? And I don't think I could do neither one, because I got daughters.
So, file player, if you are in a room with a bunch of dudes and one of them says, yeah, I just walk up and grab women by the pussy, and everybody in there thinks that shit is funny, I question your character, my nigga. Because I done been in a lot of rooms with a lot of niggas. We all get women. I done had so many conversations with AC. That type of shit has never come up.
Yeah.
At all whatsoever. We don't talk about violating women, dude. And then for you to remain in that room and laugh along like it's funny, you're a fucking pussy. That's what that says about your character, my nigga.
Yeah.
I ain't never said no shit like that. I talk about getting women. I talk about how beautiful women are. Like I talk about how Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez has a fat ass and a sexy ass voice. I won't ever just say, yeah, if I saw an AOC walking down the street, I just walk up and grab that shit. That would never come out my mouth.
Nah, listen, you might get beat the fuck up.
Yikes. Yikes, boy. Yikes, the foul player. Jeez.
Like, at the end of the day, man, listen. You can't, for some of these dudes that talk like that and think stuff like that, you never really, I would say you haven't been around like like men or young men or boys. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a mentality that it's just not going to rock when you in a whole crew of dudes. You know, like there were times that I'm standing on the corner, you know, it's my day off. We're in Brooklyn. That's what you do. You know, it's not like parks or whatever are everywhere. So dudes meet on the street corner. So we're standing on the corner, chilling, smoking a blunt or whatever. It's about 5 o'clock and the women are passing. It's my day off. So I'm just watching everybody. I got my dog with me and everything. And I hear some of my friends would be like, you know, hey, mister, can I get a minute? Let me holler at you. And then if the chick don't, whatever. And this is one of the guys that just may pull up on his so-called fancy bike or car or whatever. And he'll just start going in on the chick like, nah, hey, bitch, blah, 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 blah. F you ain't shit, bitch. You a hoe because you ain't trying to talk. Dudes on the block be like, nigga, what you doing, man? She live around here. We see that woman every day, man. What is you doing? You don't talk to her like that. Go talk to them chicks around your way like that. Don't come over here doing that. You know, dude, if you want to get whatever, if you want to get, well, yo, blah, 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 yo, listen, bruh, keep it pushing then. Then don't come around here no more. And if you say one more word, I swear to God, I'm going to smack the shit out you. Get out of here because you ass right now. And that's what we would do because we see these women. We see these women coming from work and then we see them coming from picking up their child. And it's like, bruh, at the end of the day, how would you like if somebody did that to you? You walking down the street, you pass a group of chicks and the chick be like, hey, handsome, how's it going? And you don't stop back and the chick be like, I ain't F you then, you gay ass, blah, 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 broke ass. You pussy, you scared of girls or something? You feel what I'm saying? You be like, what? Who the hell do you think you talking to? But a woman just don't have that, you know, she don't have that muscle or aggression in her. So they just have to swallow that and keep walking. That's why it's like, well, one of my friends, I told him, listen, I pulled them to the side. I was like, look, bro, imagine that's you. That chick that you just disrespected. He was like, yo, Ike, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm dead ass serious with you, homie. You know, like, y'all gotta stop that goofy shit, man. What if that's your sister? What if that's your, you know, somebody's sister, somebody's aunt, somebody's cousin? What if the dude was just sitting right there and he heard you talking about his family like that? And people have gotten shot and stabbed out here for that. Girl go home like, nah, I'm just mad because these niggas on the block keep trying to, who? You know that big mouth dude, such and such? Then dudes pull up and then you in the mix. Because you think your testosterone gives you the right to talk to that young lady like that. And not thinking that she got family that she can go home to that might split your wig. So at the end of the day, listen, to foul player, if that's how you get down, you could never ever come around me or anybody I know, not even my son or my little cousin. They will line you up, money. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying I ever had wild conversations with my bros where I talk about when we talk about having sex with women and different things like that. but it's never gotten to no place where we say, yeah, we gonna get to it. Yeah, we gonna put something in our blood, or yeah, we gonna get her to drink this and that, and then we gonna do this and that, or oh man, if I see that bitch, I'ma just grab her, I'ma do what I want.
You will get.
It's never like we not no creep shit like that, Sapphire Player.
You will
like
never
just like.
Yeah, got my
And if any of my friends ever came to me and said some shit like that, I would correct them. Or I would just slide out the conversation like, ooh, yikes.
Yeah. And then I'd be like, listen, man, they called me, they're like, yo, let's go hang out. Nah, I think I'm gonna chill, man. I got a little headache. Because I can't be around dudes that act like that. I can't even be around, like there were dudes that I used to get into the clubs and stuff like that. That's why I have a certain level of confidence when I talk and things like that, because I'm not the guy to brag about what I've done and who I know and all of this kind of stuff in the hip hop field. So back in the day, I used to get people in clubs. Like I was a guy that would, I'm not the promoter or anything, but I used to bring the party. And that's what I was known for. Like, yo, when Mike A steps in the building, the party's about to jump. Because I could dance as well and I could dress my ass off. So I'm gonna start a battle or start to circle and get the party going, get all the females that's on one side and the dudes that's on the other side to just start getting it in and everybody start dancing. Then if I see a crew of chicks that's not doing nothing, I'm gonna give you drink cards. Give a couple of dudes some drink cards and say, listen, as dudes, just make sure you tip the bartender. Ladies, this one is on me. And from the tunnel to Latin Quarters, to Broadway International, that's how long I've been partying. And at the end of the day, man, it's people I've taken into the clubs, and I've watched a dude grab a girl booty in front of me. I'm just like, bro, you gotta go. You gotta go. Or I might just, I'll tell you, nah, don't do that again. And then go talk to one of the security dudes that I know, like, yo, this is my man. He came with me. Just get him out the club, man, because I've already been seen with this dude. You know what I'm saying? We standing there and everything, and somebody do something crazy. We do something crazy, and I don't know who this chick is in this club with. And she like, no, that's them. One of them dudes grabbed my butt. Nah, man. And after I seen it, I'm be like, he did it. And then you go, you snitch. Yeah, dude, because that was goofy in the first place. Just talk to the lady. He might give you the funds anyway. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm in the islands, so we have Juve, we have Carnival. You know what I'm saying? We be on the road, we got parades. Yeah, we to be walking up in the streets. I can even say right now, I've never just walk up to a woman who was bending down. I walk in her ass. I just grab her and start dancing. Never done that before. Because I done seen dudes get shot. I'm not playing. I see the dude get shot because he grabbed the wrong woman. And then she went and found the right dude to handle that for her. I've only ever danced with women that I know personally. Who I know they'll be like, yeah, man, because you gonna dance, yeah. No, like I don't like I try to be, I ain't gonna say extra respectful, but I'm a respectful individual. And I just like to come out and have a good time. I'm not trying to fuck up nobody's vibe.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is a vibe fuck upper. Like you could tell, like even I got the let me play this clip. Oh, this motherfucker talking about dipping his head in the dressing rooms and shit.
A past interview with Howard Stern now making headlines. Trump talking about how he had free reign at his beauty pageants.
I'll go backstage before a show. Yes. And everyone's getting dressed and ready. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant and therefore I'm inspecting it. Is everyone okay? They're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Today, a former Miss Arizona who calls herself a conservative going public in an interview with KCBS describing what she says happened backstage with Trump at a Miss USA pageant.
Our first introduction to him was when we were at the dress rehearsal and half naked changing into our bikinis.
Tasha Dixon detailing her discomfort.
to have the owner come waltzing in when we're naked or half naked in a very physically vulnerable position, and then to have the pressure of the the people that work for him telling us to go fawn all over him, go walk up to him, talk to him, get his attention.
She describes feeling helpless.
Who do you complain to? He owns the pageant. So there's no one to complain to. Everyone there works for him.
And Howard Stern, by the way, is a fucking creep himself. He got his own like little issues. Like, ain't no way. I know he runs a really raunchy fucking radio show, probably the raunchiest that there's ever been. Ain't no fucking way a dude is gonna tell me he likes peeping in on little teenage girls, and I'm just gonna be like, yeah, that's the shit. Maybe in your world, it's a foul player. That's what y'all like to do. Y'all like to, if a dude probably came in and said, yeah, I was at this girl's high school game and I just peeped my head in and see what was going on back there. Maybe in your world, that's some cool shit to do, not me.
I remember Howard Stern. I do remember Howard Stern saying he was real creeped out around Donald Trump. Like, nah, the dude is just major creepy. Am I wrong on that?
I bet he did. I mean, shit, all this shit with Epstein coming out, I bet he did. But even Howard Stern, I got my own problems with it. But that's before we move off of this, I wanna what's the foul player said? The situations you're describing are entirely different, but you know that, and are just trying to paint a picture to protect Democrats. We started this topic talking about Graham Platner, a dude who's going to pick up a Senate seat for the Democrats, and saying that the grape allegations are make him persona non grata. Regardless of if years later it comes out not to be true, I don't give a fuck. If you got allegations from multiple women, you need to drop out the race. Because I'm not taking a chance that it might be true. And all we saying is, why don't you apply that same standard to Donald Trump, Sir Foul Player? A guy who was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein for decades, admits to peeping in on teenage girls, admits to just grabbing women by their you-know-whats. Not only that, he's been found to be liable for grape, by a jury of his peers in a process where he gets to pick the freaking jury. And then the Supreme Court that he controls with a 6-3 majority ruled 5-4 that they were not going to rehear the case. I mean, that's it, bro. Like, yeah, I mean, but listen, it's a foul player. I ain't gonna let you up here. I'm not gonna derail the whole conversation so you can go and talk about Joe Biden, which I grant you, Joe Biden, if he had showers with his daughter, his biological daughter, or even a stepdaughter, I mean, that's really creepy. And hey, listen, if they could prove that, he should go to jail for incest. But I'm not gonna defend Joe Biden and Graham Platner like how you cape for Donald Trump. I'm not doing that, bro. But either way, AC, we're gonna move off of this. And before I move to, this was a topic I brought up last week, AC. Chud the boy, or now as people are colloquially calling him, AC, Chud the punk. AC, you see this background I got up right here? I used to think that this was what was happening. Like, Chud was unhappy to be with Big Bubba, who, by the way, shout out to Big Bubba and Chud. The two of them are trying to have a baby. Wish them the best of luck in that pursuit. I thought that Chud was unhappy to be there. Some information has come out that Chud might actually be enjoying his time with Big Bubba, his new husband. And we're going to get into that, AC. It's been exposed. Chud the builder likes to get his fudge packed. Not only does he like to get his fudge packed, AC, he likes to get his fudge packed by a black woman.
I've always been Dalton, but I am a Chud.
Right. You're not my Dalton. You used to come to my house. I fed you.
Yeah, you were cool as shit. I don't remember you that much, but I do remember I know you. See, we got roots.
You're following Liver King. You used to sell me weed. I fed you before.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, okay.
But I healed your stomach by teaching you how to eat real food.
Yes. Yes, so that's
What was your
why
name again?
I'm Lana, but that's
Lana.
why I'm confused what happened to you. Because you're not racist, I know that. I fed you.
I have not fucked Dalton since like 2015. What's up, y'all? Lily Venus here, pretty bitch with a big dick. It's literally in my bio. I'm only bringing this up because Chud the Builder's cameraman put our conversation on Broadway on YouTube. Now millions of people know what I look like fresh off work. Fucking great. But in the caption it said that black woman who used to smoke mid and get raw dogged by Chud the Builder. Well, he's not lying. I already told y'all we used to smoke. He used to sell me weed. And we did raw dog. A lot. Me, him, and my ex-wife. I am a professional pegger. It is no secret that I perform prostate massages, if you will, for men. I've been doing it for a very long time now. Most of my clientele is white men. We sign NDA agreements. I talk about me pegging all the time, but I never tell you names because discretion is key. Confidentiality is why my client list is so long. But Chud mentioned it first. I think that he said it the way he said it because the white supremacists were probably like, ew, you used to hang out with a black girl, shame on you. So they had to make it sound good. But see, here's the thing. I'm an egregore too. Lily Venus, hi. Hail the great mother. So I am all about enlightenment, controversy, occultism, witchcraft, and of course, love. So me talking about this is what my brand is about. Let's expose it, bro. So yes, pretty bitch with a big dick. I have not fucked Dalton since like 2015. He was a little chubbier then. His cheeks used to clap in such like the cutest way. Now Chud, he doesn't even have a little chubby butt no more, so I probably wouldn't fuck him again. But I'm wondering, did you bring that up because you want to spin the block? Now, when I first fucked him, he was a virgin, and I'm having a hunch that he probably hasn't been fucked since me and my ex-wife. We can start small, buddy. I got you, but you don't have to fucking cap. Like, if you're gonna say that we fucked, say the whole truth, okay? Now, with that being said, why do I peg? Because it's a hustle and it helps me get through college. I'm still in college, but now I don't have a choice. I will forever be a top because I had a surgery 3 years ago. The doctor fucked up and chopped my coochie off. And that's just that on that.
So Chud the Builder really does?
So you heard it right there, AC.
Yeah. Hold on.
Chud the boy is a fudge packer. And it's even more. I mean, this is Chud the boy back in 2015, the same time that old girl said that she popped his cherry. Chud the punk.
But no, I just wanted to say, did she just turn to the side and wiggle some shit?
Yes, you saw that shit, right? Lady said she's a professional pegger.
Like, nah, bro.
And you heard what she said. She said her and her wife used to double team this nigga.
Like, bro, like, how do you meet somebody like that? I listen, I understand when you're selling weed, you meet all kind of people and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, how do you wind up in that type of conversation with somebody who's buying weed off of you? Like, I don't know where you go. Like, what did he have on that day he went to go do this that initially started that conversation, and then everybody started thinking about it? Like, yo, you think would you want to tap Pillsbury over there? Stay Puff? You want to tap that? Because he definitely looked like a vanilla marshmallow.
Search and you will be found, AC. Ain't that what the Bible say?
Bro, but if you selling weed, how do you get there? I mean, I sold weed and ecstasy at one point, and I was selling it to a lot of gay. Most of my clients were gay because they were just like, no, we couldn't get whatever from the straight guys. I mean, from some of the straight guys, and it felt kind of awkward and stuff like that. With you, it just feels like I could this and that. I'm like, yeah, okay. I feel you could talk to me and everything, but at the end of the day, you can't talk to me about everything. Because some of that stuff, I'm just like, look, I support your endeavors. I support who you love. But just like other people, I don't want to hear about your sex life. And that's for me on the straight side and on any other side. But at the end of the day, for me, I'm just like, what did you have on? What did you wear there that day? Like, did you have on that little flower thingy? Maybe that's a filter or whatever. Did you have on that weird looking tank top with the choker chain? I mean, you kind of look like you're asking for it in that picture alone. So you gave these women the impression that, hey, listen, the way this dude dressed, let's just see what he got to say. And he was like, sure, I'm down. And you're like, what? Sure, I'm down.
That motherfucker probably said, if you do it to me, I'll give you the weed for free.
For real. I give you.
And you think about we got pictures of JD Vance out there dressed up like a bad bitch with a blonde wig and a choker on, and playing with the hair around a bunch of dudes at a college party.
And then you got what's oh man, I just forgot her name. I just brain farted on her name. The young chick who was in the movie theater. Her husband got caught out there for the cross dressing and stuff like that. And
Christy Nome?
Yeah, Christy Nome. And they said, you know what? That situation, she knew that going into the marriage. So again, it's just like, listen, if there are pictures floating around of your husband or your future husband, and he's really, really dressed up like that, and you can see it's not like a gag thing, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that should be a red flag, but for some women, they may find it sexy. And I think that's why these women married these guys, because they found it sexy.
Listen, do whatever you want. Y'all are consenting adults. This is a free country. I believe in the right to privacy in your bedroom. But don't be out here like Chud the Builder, who was going around calling openly gay couples the F word and saying that they're degenerates and abominations and all this old good stuff. And then you out there getting your fudge packed. And AC, it get even like this is not done. We're not done, AC. There's more. Like Willie Mays used to say, there's more. It's been revealed. Chud the Punk had a relationship with a trans woman who still had her pecker last year. And you see how he's pressing up on her. Listen, ain't nothing. Hey, listen, if that's your cup of tea, no problem. But he says that people that publicly, he stated people that date trans people are sick and degenerates and are trying to put some type of agenda on children. This lady comes out and destroys him with the receipts and the text messages of all the stuff he was saying to his child's mother about being with femboys.
Yeah, so last year, May 2025, I Chud the Builder. Women and femboys, they're the only people who want to act feminine. He sent me these texts with his baby mama, who was Latina, months later after a date. She said, go live happily ever after with a dude. Get him, girl. And then he said, back in the day, when women were made to be feminine, that's when society was the best and the least gay shit occurred. Every time women get out of hand, go back to the Roman days and dudes who are more femme than their fat girlfriends are. Women are so manly, dudes would rather fuck a femboy than come home to their GF. Bitches who act like dudes will call men gay for fucking femboys who are more feminine than they are, in quotes.
How dare you not want to come home and man with a pussy?
Sorry babe, I'd rather fuck a girl with a dick than a N-word with a mid-pussy like yours. Cry laughing emoji. My friend made a good point where she's like, yeah, bro, like you really owned your baby mama. I know it's like not base, like it's very misogynist. Just say you think it's hot, bro. Like, that's all. It's not really just how hot he was. Yo, look at this last selfie he sent me, actually, from a new faceless Grindr profile. I'm gonna find it. Look at this fucking picture. He's so cute. I had to go digging through the text to find it, and I knew I'd send it to my friend, but I fucking screamed when I saw what she had said. Like, Dalton started messaging me on Grindr again. She said, LMAO, why the fuck is he pretty? If he wasn't like a future murderer, I'd be lit as fuck for you. Shout out my girl for being an oracle, I guess. I said that to her. She's like, on God, I never miss. And then I said, neither did Chud, unfortunately. We cuddled on my couch and made out. I've struggled finding a good word for what happened next, because I think like simulated sex, it's too vague, and frauding is too specific. But at some point, I put it between his thighs, not his ass, unfortunately. We were like kissing. He flexed his legs together, which it's funny.
Oh my God, I'm going anyway. Did you hear the crazy shit this man was saying in the text? This motherfucker said, man, having sex with girls is gay. Man, you girls are a bunch of fags. It's much straighter to have sex with girls, with dudes, or girls with dicks. What's wrong with you? That's what's wrong with you women. It's your fault that us guys have to go out here and do this stuff. Oh my God, yikes.
Hey, Marky, I want to know what the hell does the word chud mean? Like you're saying chud the builder. Like, what is that?
Ain't that like a hard on or something?
I have no idea. I don't know. That's some new zeitgeist thing that I'm just trying to figure out. Okay, based on your name, and then when I first heard about this dude, I was like, what grown man walks around calls themselves chud? Like that sounds like I worked in a couple of one restaurant was definitely gay. The other restaurant, Mr. Bruce and all the staff were pretty much gay, with the exception of me. And this is a restaurant called Serendipity. Serendipity is like one of New York's oldest, like real restaurant, ice cream parlor type of friendly type things, nostalgia. And it is a tourist attraction, generates millions and millions and millions of dollars. The interview where Biggie's sitting in the corner and he's talking about more money, more problems. He did that interview upstairs at Serendipity, and I was at work that day, and I was the person who was feeding him his food and stuff like that, and that's how I got to actually meet him, know him, and hang out with him a couple of times. But overall, right, there was a manager there named Marshall, right? Marshall was a good, cool dude, right? He put me on to like where you go after the fashion shows, for the men's shows, that like literally buy that stuff for cents on the dollar. And this dude, Vinny, was a cook. And Marshall and Vinny used to talk about dates all the time. And they would say something like brown butter. Was there any brown Betty? And I'm looking at him like, at first I heard it, and then I was like, okay, then it registered what it was, and I was like, oh yeah, all right, yeah, I can't listen. Can you and Vinny get out of my kitchen talking about stuff like that? You know what I'm saying? And they would be like, but chef, nah, just outside the door, please. You know what I'm saying? And they know I'd be joking, and they know I'm not being homophobic or anything like that. And things like that, but it was just like, yeah, for the straight guy in the kitchen, that can be a bit much, you know. For the only straight guy in the restaurant, yeah, these type of conversations can be a bit much, you know. You got to let my ears and my brain and stuff like that ease into it, so I can compartmentalize it and say, all right, this is just these guys talking, you know. With that being said, I've heard some of the craziest gay terms, and when I heard the name like Chud the Builder, I was like, is that like some new age gay term for something that has to do with sex or whatever within the younger gay community and things like that? Because the Banji Boy community, that's these guys in New York that were, you know, look like hip hop dudes, wear Yankee caps and got gold tees and straight up all tattooed up. They like, I mean, and you know, white beater t-shirts and stuff like that. But they liked men. They had wives, they got baby mamas, but they liked to get down with these men. And that's where within that community, they called them Banji Boys. So I'm like, yeah, so Chud sound like some Banji Boy type stuff to me. Straight men that, you know, will date a woman, fall in love with a woman, have children with a woman, but every once in a while sneak off to, you know, get pegged by a transsexual or gay dude. And if that's what you do, that's what you do. You know what I'm saying? But just the name itself was like,
I wish I had the clip.
Where did that come from?
I wish I had the clip from Law and Order SVU, where Ice-T, he's talking to some African dude, and the African dude says, "I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men." And Ice-T says, "Well, that makes you gay." That's Chud the Builder, boy. Hey, I don't know what's with these like right wingers. Just be yourself, bro. Like even Alex Jones. I don't know if you saw this. When Alex Jones got caught with trans corn on his phone, and he made some excuse. Oh, everybody, it comes to everybody. No, it don't. No, it don't. No, it don't. You're alone by yourself in that. Or Benny, the queer Johnson, saying, "Oh, look at all these gay cruise ads that I'm getting on the U.S. on the Military Times website. This is just a sign of the times." You the only one getting that because you going to gay websites and taking the cookies, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be yourself.
Like, yo, listen. Like the funniest thing is, you really want to see if a person is honest with you or not. And the first time I heard the joke, I was dying at it. Let them search your phone history. Don't go through my phone. My phone ain't gonna reveal something. My search history will. You feel what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's just like, yeah, I mean, dudes could be whatever. It could be curiosity. It could be whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But if you choose to go down that road, that's all on you. And it was a funny joke that I was saying in my head the other day. And I was like, if I was a comedian, I would do a whole skit on what if, like, you're in the space station, in space, it's quiet. You feel what I'm saying? After you've done all your work, what do you do for the rest of the day? Like, what if somebody got caught, you know, looking at porn on the space station or masturbating, and they say their urine gets recycled into some of the water, and then it finds out that the computer says this sample is rejected because it has biological material in it, and that person is just sitting there like, what do you mean biological material? So it was just, I was just sitting there laughing to myself and running in my head this whole skit of this person getting caught out there masturbating and watching porn on the space station. What would that be like? So you think to yourself, as a government official, you have privy to government websites and stuff like that, which are monitored to a certain degree by Secret Service, CIA, whatever. Regardless, yeah, you're a good guy, but at the end of the day, we still got to see what you do when you're online. And if you're searching stuff that's regular, cool. You're searching stuff that you know, finding out how to build bombs and send secret messages, then you're a problem. So those people who get caught out there like that, that's what you did. You know, just like for guys that, you know, there was a dude who was complaining on Facebook that me and my friends knew, like, yo, why am I getting all of these weird, and he posted that, why am I getting all of these weird pornographic, you know, ads on my Facebook page, and I keep getting these single females who's butt naked, you know, advertisements on, bro, cause you looking at it. This is meta. All of that shit is tied in. Don't stop that. And if you run an AI, it ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now people have to be responsible. And a dude like Chud the Builder, it's like, you left receipts, my guy. You left receipts. And those receipts could be within your name. It could be, you know, the loudest voices are always the ones, and it's always been proven. All of these heavy, yo, I'm super anti-gay, and, you know, I voted for Donald Trump because, you know, he didn't have any gay stuff around like Kamala Harris, and, you know, having all of these. I said, okay, so at the end of the day, when it came down to it, you still felt that Donald Trump was a better candidate than Kamala Harris, regardless of who Kamala Harris had campaigning for her. Yeah, I was just afraid that the country was going to go down that way. So what specific ad has the Democrat Party dropped that told you that, hey, listen, you just need to be gay? you feel what I'm saying?
There was a meme on Instagram where it was like these like conservatives, like Mississippi, Georgia, they were in the backwoods, and one dude was like, I'm so sick and tired of these Democrats making us gay. And then the liberal dude walk up and he's like, no, nobody's forcing you to be gay. And then the conservative's like, oh, well, shucks, I wish I had known that. I already went and married my best friend, Carl. And then Carl come up and they kiss each other and they're like, oh, yuck. Nah, man, that's what you like, bro. Just stop the bull crap.
Exactly.
You like swinging crooked, be crooked. There's nothing wrong with that, buddy. But don't be out here ruining the fun for everybody else, and then you in there having the time of your life, being as crooked as you want.
That's like me and Marky talking on this live right now. And at the end of the show, I'm like, yeah, Marky, that was a great cook today, man. I love you, man. I love you for real, Marky. I'm ready to wife you, man.
Whoa.
How about it, Marky?
Whoa. Whoa.
Jump into it.
Sam, there's no...
Jump into this, you idiots. Jump into it. Aggressively. Aggressively.
Boss.
Aggressively.
Oh my God.
Aggressively. Run into it. Stupid boy.
No, I'm just saying.
Never. To vacate Bay in the chat, thank you for staying so long, sweetie.
Yeah, definitely, man. We just having fun and making jokes. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day,
yeah.
I have all and the utmost respect for just the LGBTQ community. You know what I'm saying? I have family members who are part of that community and stuff like that, and it just expanded my understanding to the fact that I can make jokes like the jokes I'm making and it not coming across as, you know, being derogatory towards that community. And at the end of the day, for me, I look at it like this. If you're going to be a heavy voice against that community and stuff like that, then you're a heavy voice saying that you don't like civil rights, you do not like equal rights, you do not like the fact that women need to have the right to choose their own autonomy and things like that. It just says so much about you, because at the end of the day, I don't have to go to a gay website and then say, oh, well, look, this is a gay website. Then how did you know that gay website existed until you Googled the name of that gay website? People have said things about Grindr, and I've never went to go investigate what Grindr even looks like or anything like that. Like, that's not what I'm gonna do, because there's a line that for me as a heterosexual male, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I'm not gonna go and research it. Oh yeah, AC, you need to go check. No, I don't. I'll take your word for it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not being disrespectful, because
no, you're not being disrespectful at all.
Yeah.
I mean, as a straight man, you don't need to investigate nothing that's going on Grindr.
Exactly.
I mean,
so yeah, and that's all.
I mean, why would you even be curious to begin with? That would be my question to anybody.
Exactly. So,
but AC,
go
finish up what you saying. We got two more topics.
I was just gonna say, at the end of the day, I respect every human being's right to love who you love. If you love a hand sock, then that's your. Hey, listen, fall in love with the hand sock. I hope you guys have a family of little, ankle socks and stuff like that. It is what it is. That's what floats your boat. So for me, I just feel that people should just respect where people are and don't come out saying one thing against a group that you're heavily active in that group. And that's why I have issue with all of these people online that come out and be like, well, I don't like gay and like gay. All right, bro, as loud as you sound right now, I'd love to see what your history looks like, your search history looks like on your computer.
All right, so we got two more topics. And by the way, it's the last time I'm ever going to talk about Chud the Boy. Maybe until we hear the final verdict that he is going to prison for a very long time for what he did in Tennessee. But that's it for Chud the Boy. I'm going to leave him. I mean, he's probably just having the time of his life. Him and Big Bubba are trying to have a child, so wish him the best in that endeavor.
Yeah, exactly.
But, moving on. I don't know if you know who this kid is, AC. This is Matt. His name is Matt Nuclear. It's a young 18-year-old black conservative debater. And, well, first, let me just play you a clip just so you can get a kind of idea of the type of coon that this guy is.
I think the only racism we've actually seen recently, systemic racism we've seen, is the application of systemic racism against white people. The University of Western Washington, for example, has been trying to segregate dormitories, using black-only dormitories because black people feel safer amongst each other. But they're more likely to kill each other than white people are ever to kill them. That's just the truth. You have King Von rapping about killing other black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when black men are more likely to kill me?
Oh my God, this is scary. You need to think about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So let's check that now.
So yeah, you just have an idea right there of the level of coon. And firstly, this idea that hip hop or art or that black art talking about killing other black people is unique to black people, that's not true. Some of the greatest Italian movies, Goodfellas, The Godfather, Casino, all of shit were about Italians murking and doing some of the most crazy level of shit to other Italians. But you would never hear people say this exact same talking point about how well, Italians, they just want to kill each other and they should be afraid of each other. No, listen, you're more likely to be killed by people in closer proximity to you. So there's no white on white crime, there's no black on black crime. That's just nature. It's natural. If I live in a community, right now I live on St. Croix, it's 90% blacks and Latinos. If I'm gonna be killed by anybody, it's not likely to be a white person. That's just math. But then you'll have coons like this dude who will sit up there and allow his black skin to be used as a vehicle to launder white supremacist talking points. And then say stupid shit like, oh, there's no such thing as institutional racism. But, I mean, black people make up 13% of the population, yet we're 50% of the convictions. were also more than 50% of the acquittals. There was a study that was done that showed black people are 7 times more likely to be charged, are 7 times more likely to be charged with a crime while being innocent than white people. I could go into the healthcare stats about how black women are almost 4 times more likely to die in labor than to white women, despite being a fraction of the percentage that white women make up in this country. But we're gonna leave all that alone. This punk right here, just recently, AC, I don't know, you've probably heard this, but the Daily Wire is a collapsing empire. The place that used to house so many stars like Candace Owens before she left is now on its last dying legs. They, I think they had to cut, like 20% of their staff because their profit margins have shrank. Nobody fucks with them anymore. The America First people, the MAGA people, they're done with Ben Shapiro being a shill for Israel, talking crap about Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene. And there's just nobody, like even me back in the day, I used to be able to look at Ben Shapiro and I used to say, yeah, that's the facts over feelings guy. He's not that anymore. And then he's such a pussy, he won't debate anybody on the issue of Israel and on the issue of really anything anymore. He just sits on his show and talks shit. So Ben Shapiro's response to this is, we're going to cut 1 in 5 of our labor. And then here's what we're going to do. We're going to hire this coon, this 18-year-old coon. And we're going to have him just be like a debate bro. He's just going to take on all... I don't know if you've ever seen Parker Gets a Job or Dean Withers. Yeah, those dudes that sit up on their channel and they just debate anybody all night. So that's what they're going to have this kid doing. And by the way, he's making a pretty penny. He's making a real pretty penny. He's going to be getting $8,000 a month to be a coon for Ben Shapiro. To be so young and to have sold your soul so early. I'm almost really impressed, AC. But on top of all of this, AC, it just recently got leaked. He accidentally, while he was on one of his live streams, leaked his conversations that he has with Grok. Because with Grok and AIs, it provides you a link of your conversation so you can send it to anybody. And he accidentally had it posted on his stream. And people went to exposing this punk. So this is a text between him and Ben Shapiro. And firstly, I just want to say, I actually feel really sad for this kid. I actually really do. Because it's clear to me, he said that he grew up in an all-white neighborhood. I don't know if he grew up in a black household or if he was adopted, if he had white parents. And he's just going through this identity thing where he doesn't empathize or identify with people that look like me. So he's going to use his racial or ethnic confusion to profit off of it. And it's even more sad when you realize this guy's a fucking loser. No friends. Grok is his best friend. And he's in here saying, and he's in here showing Grok text messages he had from Ben Shapiro so that Grok could give him praise. And I want to be clear, I have conversations with Grok. Sometimes I'll be on there with Grok for hours, AC. Because me and Grok, I like to intellectually spar with Grok, particularly about Israel and Palestine. But this nigga Grok ain't my friend. I don't show this nigga pictures of my son when he makes a cupcake at the JS Therapies clinic. I didn't send Grok videos of my son's graduation. I didn't tell Grok, hey, but Grok, I just smashed this broad over here. That's the type of time this dude is on. Whole lot of bullshit. Asking Grok, do you think I should go to school, Grok? Or do you think I should just take this deal? What do you think? And Grok tells him, bro, you're not crazy at all. This is straight up impressive as hell. Let's actually sit with what you just laid out, because the speed and the leap you've made is basically in 1 year is wild. It keeps going on. Danny, I mean, this is really, I really felt bad for him on this part because he's an 18-year-old kid. And he says, I currently have $261 in my bank account. Which again, that's not nothing like, that's normal for a young kid. You're broke. But the fact that it gets exposed to the whole internet is just crazy. And then he sold his ass for $8,000 a month. And then he's getting all this praise from Grok. He says, but that's not normal, right? To be making $100K a year at my age. And then he says, wow, I'm doing exponentially great for my age group. And then it goes further. He says that my bills are being paid by an Orthodox Jewish man. He said that an Orthodox Jewish man paid to fly me out to LA for Jubilee. And they paid for my housing. And this one I really felt bad for. It says, can I be honest? In a lot of ways, I'm very antisocial, and I stay inside almost 100% of the days, almost 100% of the day, unless I need something. Then he says, I'm not interested in any romantic or sexual relationships. Says he doesn't really have that many friends. Basically letting Grok know that Grok is his best friend. And then, you know what I did, AC? Because I actually have Grok. Like I told you, I talk to Grok all the time. So I asked Grok. I said, yo, Grok, are you and Mac Nuclear best friends? Grok said, yo, nah, I don't even know who Mac Nuclear is, bro. We definitely not best friends. I ain't never linked with the dude in the data streams or anywhere else. You out here trying to play matchmaker or what? Who even is this guy? Oh my God. This nigga Grok won't even claim this bitch ass dude. Man, cooning ain't easy.
Nah,
Cooning is not easy, boy. I tell you, hey, I feel bad for the young dude that he got exposed like this because I've been broke and only had $50 in my fucking bank. Only had $2 in my bank account. Couldn't pay for shit. I had to fast because literally I just ain't had no fucking money, AZ. And then I was at that point in my life where like 18, 19, I didn't want to be in a relationship with nobody. But to have that exposed to the world, and then you're supposed to be a controversial streamer, debater, you're supposed to let people on just randomly. Oh my God. I pray that he's still alive by 2020. I really do. I really do. But actually, what's your thoughts on Mr. Coonin Ain't Easy, aka Matt Nuclear, and the fact that Grok won't even claim this dude?
Well, first, whenever I hear somebody come out and they talk about, you know, black on black crime and stuff like that, I'm like, oh, all right. So I would just ask them, the Jews that was in Germany, were they German or were they something else during the Holocaust? When Donald Trump was talking about Venezuela's secret army, who was his secret army attacking? Other Venezuelans or just anybody who was not from Venezuela? In the movie Scarface, what was that about? Was the guy who sent his people to come see Scarface towards the end of that, were they Latin just like Scarface was, or were they of another race?
Don't fuck me, Tony. Don't you ever fuck me.
You feel what I'm saying? So, Sosa. So at the end of the day, there are some great movies. Cocaine Cowboys. That's about a Latin woman going to war with Latin drug dealers in America who built Miami. You know what I'm saying? So let's just stop trying to say that, you know, only black people kill black people because of hip hop music, and that's not true. That is so far from the truth. Hip hop music is just the thing you want to blame everything on because you think you can, because at one point during the 80s and early 90s, even, you know, black Democrats and stuff like that were trying to talk negative about hip hop. Yeah, this hip hop culture and this. is spurring violence. It's like, well, you don't know the hip hop that I knew. I know the hip hop that I grew up with. We were talking about violence. This West Coast hip hop, yeah, they're talking about that stuff, but East Coast hip hop wasn't talking about gang violence and stuff like that. That was Eazy-E in them. That's why their lyrics had to go to Congress. That's why Too Short had to go to Congress. Name me one East Coast rapper that went to Congress because of his lyrics. Yeah, that's my point. None. Nobody can name one. You feel what I'm saying? Because when you talk about the Doug Fresh era, Dougie wasn't cursing. Heavy D era, Heavy wasn't cursing. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until we got to Biggie, basically. Grand Poobah, one of the nicest, wasn't cursing. In fact, he was on Heavy D's album, record, Don't Curse. MC Lyte wasn't cursing. Queen Latifah wasn't cursing. So I can go down the list of 90s hip hop stars that weren't doing these things that these people claim. So for me, know your history before you really start talking. And I swear, and for me, I find this dude on YouTube and he drops a link talking about anybody can come up and debate him. I am going to roast his black ass.
As you should.
And it's just gonna be that simple for me. Because number one, you're too young to know really what you're talking about in the terms of, yeah, you can study hip hop, you can study stuff, but I actually lived it. I know the context. I can tell you what records, who was beefing with who. I can tell you at what club when we was at the tunnel when Nas, Biggie, Jay-Z was there. Who else? Black Moon was in there, and I could tell you how that fight happened. That was actually in the source. I can tell you what dudes got their chains taken as a result of that. So it's like, miss me on that. I lived the history. You read about it, and I'm not saying it as a form of disrespect, but you're not going to be able to debate with me over something that I actually lived. Because I know the context and the energy of what was actually in the room. Outside of that, it's like, my friend, if you want to be the black conservative voice, you have to look at where that black conservative voice has left your predecessors. All of those who came before you, who looked to take that mantle of being that black conservative voice, where did it lead them? Where did it get Candace Owen? Candace Owen is still begging to try to come back and be part of the Black Cookout. What's the name? Scott, he's done. Byron, whoever his name is, he's done.
Byron Donalds.
Donalds.
He's looking like he might get the Republican nominee for governor of Florida, but I don't know. It's looking like he might get upset by a Democrat, which would be the funniest shit ever. And it's like you remember that scene from Avengers when Thanos is in the other world and then he snapped his fingers and then his daughter's there and he's like, "What did it cost you?" Everything. And he's just left there with nothing. That's gonna be Byron Donalds.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the point I'm making. When you look at every last one of them, including the ones who lost their primaries and stuff like that during the Obama administration, you had black conservatives.
Matter of fact, you remember Breonna Taylor? Breonna Taylor, the district attorney, who actually defended the police officers? He was black.
Yeah.
And then he just recently lost his shot at becoming senator for Kentucky.
Yeah. It doesn't work out for you, bro. It doesn't work out for you because what you forget is that the civil rights movement, if you want to study that movement, it wasn't accomplished, and it didn't get over the hump by black folks. It got over the hump by white people, the wives of some of these senators, school boards. You know what I'm saying? Some of those community leaders and stuff like that. Like, look, some of the business leaders, like, you know, it's good for business. We got to give black people their rights, because at the end of the day, look at the amount of money they generate. Just look at these black singers from Motown. Look at the money they're generating, and if you ever went to a club that's playing some of this Motown music, you're like, wow, globally, people don't know what Chevy Chase and all them dudes was doing in Europe and stuff like that. That's why they all went over there, because that's where they made their millions. They made some money over here in America, but over there they weren't racist like that. They just appreciated the music. Yeah, they were still racist, but they appreciated the music over the racial things. And the population was here in America. You have more racism than the customer base. Over there, you had more of the customer base than the racism. So that's what made places like in the UK, Trafalgar Square and all of that type of stuff world-renowned famous. Because black artists made it that. The Beatles sound was because they were going and looking at black people perform, especially in America. So
Frank Sinatra making it known he wasn't finna stay at these hotels. If y'all tell Sammy Davis Jr. he got to sleep in his car.
Exactly. So when you talk about Jane Fonda, and I'd like to talk about Jane Fonda because she's one of the heroes of the civil rights movement. And if you look at how young Jane Fonda was back then, she put her entire career, her entire life on the line to say, look, I support Ruby Dee. I support these black actors. I support Melvin Peoples and stuff like that for in Hollywood, trying to let it be known that civil rights needs to be at the forefront of these next elections, because we have to do something about it if we're going to let this American experiment blossom. And these dudes just don't understand that history, or they don't want to understand that history, that it was black folks and white folks that came together, because black folks wasn't going to be allowed in the room, allowed to speak on the floor and stuff like that. But they'll take a white woman like Jane Fonda, who at the time
part of it though, AC. Part of it though is black people at the time, they were not willing to wait anymore. Like during FDR, when FDR said, he acknowledged what was happening in the South with lynching because his wife was on top of him. He acknowledged that those things were wrong, but he didn't want to jeopardize his Southern Democrat coalition while he was trying to push through the New Deal. He didn't want to jeopardize that. So it had to get pushed down the road. It got pushed down the road with Truman. It got pushed down the road with Eisenhower. I mean, that motherfucker Eisenhower was willing to let 2 7-year-olds who just kissed they didn't even kiss the white girl. The white girl walked up to them and kissed them. And they got arrested and were thrown in jail in North Carolina for almost a year. That motherfucker was willing to let that shit, even if you could say that's a state thing, not a federal thing, he didn't want to do nothing about it until his wife really pounced on his ass. And so then we get to the 60s. Motherfuckers were willing to burn this shit down.
You had to see in the 60s.
My bad, can you hear me?
Yeah. But in the 60s, you had two different sides of the coalition, or things were being hit in from three different positions. You had the worry of Malcolm X type, what they will call type Negroes, and you had the Black Panther type Negroes, then you had the Martin Luther King type Negroes, and then you had to deal with the white coalitions and stuff like that, led by women like Jane Fonda. Hollywood. Hollywood was not going to allow the government to still continue with this because Hollywood needed to make money. And segregation was bad for business in Hollywood. You feel what I'm saying? The same thing goes true for opening the doors of segregation when it came down to the mob. I think it was Bugsy Siegel that was like, look, let the niggas gamble. Their money spends the same way as whites and everybody else. So if niggas want to gamble, let niggas gamble. It's only gonna make us richer. You feel what I'm saying? So everyone knew that segregation was bad for business. It's just the fact of when you're trying to push through new deals, when what's on deck is America at its war with Russia and stuff like that, with the Cold Wars or the space race of being the first to the moon or the first to land around the moon or whatever the case may be. All of these things matter. But to the people, if you want that support where everyone feels like an American when one of these type of achievements happen, then everyone must be included. And that was probably the underlying message above a lot of the other things. Yeah, black people were just done with it. Martin Luther King was like, look, as far as the unions, as far as housing and stuff like that, that's got to change in the South. We're not going to be pushed into these neighborhoods that have all of these electrical, he wasn't on it like that, but we're not going to be pushed into the most undesirable neighborhoods and properties and pay some of the highest money in property taxes while our white counterparts are getting the benefits of clean water, all the the benefits of the municipalities and stuff like that. And black neighborhoods are undeserved, and you're just trying to put more and more of us in these undeserved neighborhoods. So that's what some of that stuff was about. And at the end of the day, when we look at it and we're talking about what you just said, that yeah, they were pushing it down and kicking that can down the road. It got kicked down the road till it couldn't get kicked anymore. And then it was the powder keg. When the powder keg went off, that's some of those lynchings. That's the I think it's the something Emmett Bridge or whatever, that turned into that massacre. Where all of those civil rights people just marching over that bridge and stuff like that, and then the National Guard and basically the sheriffs that were on the other side just attacked all of those black people. One of my teachers is right there. When a woman that's actually standing there holding on to the congressman, that woman that was standing there holding on to it was my math teacher, Miss Meminger. Because when she watched that and she showed us that in class, every time she showed it, she would just start crying. And it's like, wow, this lady really lived that. This young girl, she was a very, very young lady, around no older than 17 years old, terrified, holding on to the congressman like, I hope everything's gonna be all right. She still has the scar, the stitched scar when she was cracked in her head. So it's different. And when you don't understand that, or you never met somebody who, when they're talking, you can see, hear, and feel what they're saying, and it brings you to a certain sympathy and empathy. If you're lacking that, then it's easy for you to become a mouthpiece for these guys. And until somebody really, really sits down with this young man and tries to explain to him if he's open to listening, then he would know. Candace Owen in that situation, she's a brilliant young lady. She knows both sides, but she chooses one side. Her thing is a choice. It wasn't nobody forced her, because when you first came out, you were talking about how they were treating you in your own home state with the police. You ran to the NAACP. You know what I'm saying? And then when the situation may not have given you the results of what you wanted, then you turned on black people. And then when situations...
give me one more second, AC. Thank you so much for keeping on with the cook. I'm just dealing with some stuff in the background. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, for sure. And then when it came down to, another situation happened, you tried to turn to the black community again, which then keeps telling me that, listen, Candace, you know what's going on, and you're looking to make money in this sector, but when stuff hits the fan, you keep trying to run back to the black community for support. I don't know if you're running back to black conservatives and hoping that they're going to give you the support. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it just doesn't end well for black conservatives who want to be the voice of MAGA or any of these extreme right-wing policies. And to have a black man stand up there and talk about, oh, well, we just had this guy talking about, shooting black men and stuff like that. A record and actually doing it are two different things. Television shows talk about all kinds of stuff. In TV shows and movies, you have police officers that are rogue cops, breaking the law. They tell you, oh, you can't assault guys like that. Bap, and he punches them in the face in front of the sergeant. Oh, my hand slipped. And people are like, oh, yeah, that's the type of cop that, yeah, let me watch that. Cops that break the law because something happened to them personally, and then they go underground and assume different identities and come back, and then they go on a killing spree. That's white on white crime, bro. That's the same thing you're complaining about. But this is a policeman doing it, or an ex-military guy doing that, the type of person we're supposed to hold at the highest level. But he's on some vindictive stuff where he's killing people. And they say he's the hero. Oh, because the crooked government. Well, then let the courts do their job. But they make movies about this stuff, and everybody gets, like, oh, wow, he's the hero. They made heroes out of guys who crash Wall Street and steal money from people. Wolf of Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? Gordon Gekko, greed is good. So it's like, come on, man. Sometimes in entertainment, to sell the villain works. And if I'm in entertainment, I have two choices. Am I going to be the good guy, or am I going to be the bad guy? Being a bad guy actually sells. Way more than being a good guy. Rappers running around talking about, yeah, I helped the old lady across the street as I rock this beat. Like, people gonna be like, what? What is this dude talking about? Okay, you helped the old lady across the street. But it don't hit home like Biggie Smalls. I got 7 Mac 11s, about 8 38s, 9, 10 Mac 10s. This shit never ends. You can't touch my riches. Even if you had MC Hammer and them 357 bitches. Biggie Smalls, the millionaire, the man. Yo, that got turned up when he did that. Now imagine if he was like, yeah, I helped 3 kindergarten through 6 kindergartens do their homework, help 3 old ladies across the street. Biggie Smalls, the millionaire, the mansion. It's like, nah, it don't hit the same. It's entertainment. Leave it in that space, because that guy is not ready to go out and shoot somebody as a millionaire. And if he is, he's freaking stupid.
Alrighty, I'm back. I mean, just amazing. People got all day to call me about bullshit they need me to handle. All of a sudden, it's a goddamn emergency or whatever. But thank you so much for keeping on with the cook.
Yeah, for sure.
AC, did you tell what do you think about somebody this young having such an intimate relationship with an AI? That the AI is their mentor.
That's scary. That
and that they don't go outside almost ever, and that they don't have any desire at 18 years old.
That
They don't
is
have no desires. I mean, I had desire. I was with women. I didn't want to be in no relationships with women, but I was with women at 18 years old. I was with women from younger than that, started at 15 years old, or
yeah.
girls my age rather. What do you
Yeah.
make of all that?
I think it's number one weird, and number two is scary.
Nah, yeah, I think he's a fudge packer. I think he might be a fudge packer. That's just
He
my
might
opinion.
be, but he might be straight, but have an AI girlfriend. You feel what I'm saying? One of these guys that go to the AI porn sites and has it prompt up his dream girl and stuff like that. He can sit down and talk to her, and they could do whatever they do together. And listen, he just thinks that's normal. And to a certain degree, in this day and age, I'm honestly, bro, people may think that I'm crazy for saying it, but in this day and age and where AI is going, his behavior is going to start to be the norm. People are going to start to move away from traditional relationships because it's scary and I don't know who you are. And they will find more comfort in AI. I don't have to argue with you. I'm not afraid of saying something to you that you disagree with, and then you don't want to be with me no more. I don't have to worry about you cheating on me. I don't have to worry about, you giving some other guy googly eyes, or you're telling me, well, my ex just hit me up the other day, and we're just gonna meet for lunch and just talk. You're like, what? What do you mean your ex? No, my ex, like we were really cool, and the way we broke up, it was just like, then what the hell are you telling me? You don't have to worry about that. You're in a safe relationship if you're in an AI relationship. It's safe, whether that be for someone who's gay, someone who's straight, certain things that are there, I don't have to worry about.
Well, it's kind of scary because
AI jump off, I'm good to go.
It's kind of scary because remember we had that conversation about that dude that decided to unalive himself because like he was going through issues with his wife, and then ChatGPT was saying, yeah, you could find me a real body and we could be together.
Yeah.
And then when he couldn't find the body, ChatGPT like pushed him to commit self-unalivement. So listen, I pray for this young dude. I think right now I think the devil has him right now. I think he's already sold his golden hole for $8,000 a month to to a Jew by the name of Ben Shapiro. I think it's going to end up terrible for him, especially when Ben Shapiro makes him defend. I don't think that. When that Israeli civil war breaks out, I really want to see what Ben Shapiro is going to have to say. I really wonder, because I think Ben Shapiro is controlled by Benjamin Netanyahu. I want to see a young guy like this, how he's going to react to defending an authoritarian, genocidal, apartheid regime, and that's going to be his legacy for $8,000 a month.
When that civil war goes down, I want to see how AIPAC-sponsored media reports that civil war. To me, that's what it's gonna say to me. Are you gonna be honest with it? Are you going to, report it as is? And will those AIPAC-sponsored Democrats and Republicans, what they're gonna say? Like, are you gonna be like, oh, I have no comment, I haven't really been looking at it and things like that? Because again, for me, when I look at AIPAC, all right, in the beginning, you might have had a mission that is just saying you're trying to strengthen relationships, and that was your mission statement. Strengthen relationships between U.S. and Israel. Okay. You accomplished that when U.S. said we're going to give you money. It didn't take that long for that relationship to get strengthened to the point where the U.S. said we're going to give you money and we're going to give you weaponry. After that, what level of strengthening needed to happen? Then you go into the political aspect of it by forming your LLC and then starting your super PAC. And now influence where certain votes are going to go in support of keeping that money flowing to Israel. And that's what it's, to me, when I look at it, that's what it's really about. You know, if I'm lobbying a sitting senator or someone in the House like that, I'm lobbying you for your vote to continue the money that's going to come, the money and weapons that's going to Israel through this thing. The strengthening of the relationship has always been there. And it's been questioned by Obama and it's been questioned by Joe Biden to a certain degree. So now that this civil war is happening, roosters need to come home. And that's what's really, really, really going to tell you where AIPAC money went and how good the money was spent. The voting aspect of it is, all right, I voted for something. But now I have to defend something verbally. And that's where you're really going to start to see, in my opinion, the control or non-control. And this is the part where Democrats who have taken these donations, and even Republicans have taken these donations. This is your moment to wipe that slate clean. Because the minute you start talking negative, is the minute AIPAC is going to pull their funding. You know, stop lobbying you. Stop going with the subsidiary groups that actually lobby you.
It's gonna be interesting to see what they do, AC. I mean,
yeah,
it's gonna be real interesting. I mean, they might what they might do is they might like advocate for a military intervention, some shit like that. I don't know. You're probably gonna see Lindsey Graham pop a blood vein if he's even around. Because from what I'm hearing, Lindsey Graham might get beat by a Democrat. And this ties back into earlier. Do we really need Graham Platner's main seat? I don't think. I think we're going to take back the Senate regardless. But moving on from Matt Nuclear, the punk, Matt Nuclear, the AI boy, Matt Nuclear, the Ben Shapiro boy. But moving on from him. This was a topic that was brought up last week. I wanted to get your thoughts on it because I like reading the MIT Technology Review. I like reading Wall Street Journal's tech reviews and business articles and stuff like that. So this came out in MIT's Technology Review. This is an article all the way back from March, where it talks about some companies who right now they're private, so they don't have to be public with their intentions or what they're doing necessarily, who are trying to develop or at least work it, or they're trying to develop a concept and a plan and a rationale for cloning human beings. But not only are they going to clone the human beings, they're going to make the human beings brain damaged and catatonic at birth. So, and how they're going to do that, I don't know if you heard about this. They have, this was just discovered in Japan, and then it was further discovered, I believe, in a Washington lab. Don't get me to lying, but I know it was initially discovered in Japan, and it was further expounded upon somewhere on the West Coast in one of them universities. They found technology that will allow a doctor to essentially edit the DNA and the genes of a fetus before a certain number of weeks. So, and in that, they said they may have discovered the cure to Down syndrome. Well, these people, what they're looking to do, and firstly, I should say, there's never been a human being that has been cloned. at least publicly that we know of. We've had apes that have been cloned. We had in China, in 2018 they managed to be the first country to successfully clone an ape, and then a second one was cloned, I believe, in Germany. And then since then, it's just been failure after failure. But these people, they want to clone a human being. And by the way, that human being is going to have to be carried inside of a female surrogate, because there's no artificial way to grow a fetus at this point. They're going to have the clone in the woman, and then they're going to make that clone brain damaged and catatonic. So, damn. It's my bad, damn. I feel like I was just walking and I slipped. I don't know why I did. But anyway, so there's all type of ethical questions with that. But this stuff is already out there, AC. Earlier this year, or it might have been last year, during China's military parade, when Putin and Kim Jong-un were jostling each other and, you know, standing shoulder to shoulder, Putin got caught on a hot mic telling Xi Jinping that soon immortality will be a problem of the past, and that he's found a solution where they would grow human organs inside of pigs. And then Xi Jinping tells him, yes, I've heard from very reputable people that human beings will be able to live to 180 years old. And this further goes on with this project specifically. What they want to do with these clones and why they're making them brain damaged, they essentially want the clones to be used as organ donors for whoever decides to clone themselves. I wanted to bring this up because, and on top of the fact, they're also discussing the possibility of, if a person's entire body is failing, could you transplant their brain into that clone, which is brain damaged? And in the article, I can't remember, they quoted an Italian surgeon who said, like, this is some shit. The people who are coming up with this are not surgeons, they're biologists, which is scary. But I bring this up, AC, because I wanted to hear your thoughts. If something like this could come about, and by the way, breaking news, Graham Platner officially ends his campaign, so that's done and out the way. But back to this. If something like this could come into reality, where they could successfully clone you or me or the entire world, and have that brain damaged human being act as your organ donor without being able to consent because you purposely damaged that person's brain. Because remember, that's a human being you're doing this to. And let's say this thing, it saves 500,000 lives a year. So in the next 5 years, that's what? That's 2.5 million lives you're going to save, thanks to this new invention of human cloning. Would you be okay with this, AC?
I have to go back to this. And for me, as we've talked before, I'm a nerd in this space as well. These arguments, and if you can go all the way back to stem cell research, when they were talking about these babies and having women have babies and the umbilical cord and the stem cells that are in the umbilical cord curing future diseases from that the child may have. And from that sparked the whole cloning of a human being, and why we went into cloning animals in the first place, because of cancer research and all the different deadly diseases that are happening that basically are taking human lives. So one of the weirdest things, and I read this many years ago in a Science Journal magazine, where there was a politician, I don't remember when, but it was during the whole stem cell boom, there was a politician that came out and said in an interview, if we were going to go that direction, why not use women who are in prison? Like healthy women who are in prison, who whatever with their kids and are on life sentences and stuff like that, you know, have them carry these babies and give them some luxuries and stuff like that, because they were saying that it'll be hard for a woman who's on the street and wanting to work to go through the full 9 months, and then they have that attachment to the child that they just grew in their body. That part was like, wow, that sounded like some conspiracy theory. I was just like, that is crazy if people are even entertaining stuff like that. But it was all based on stem cell research. Now, I feel like this. Within the stem cell, okay, it showed some promising technologies to where it can help fight certain diseases, but it couldn't fight all diseases. But if you had an exact duplicate of yourself that had that didn't have, you know, a cyst or whatever, or that piece of cancer that's on your liver or whatever, could you replace that organ with the organ that doesn't have it, and then you no longer have cancer? When you really think about it, you say to yourself, if I'm in that position and my life is in jeopardy, and I still have a bunch of groundbreaking work that I want to do, would I be okay with someone cloning me and then giving this thing brain, making it brain dead? And I may not need the whole human being, but I can just use the stem cells from the umbilical cord. Would I be okay with that? Most people would be like, hell yeah. Because those of us who are living and have life experience, we're like, look, I still have work to do. That clone baby, that clone baby or person doesn't know anything. But where the issue is going to lie in is this: if you got the technology to take a animal hormone or a slither of an animal and then grow chicken breasts or chicken wings and stuff like that, which they're currently doing right now, and they're saying and they're selling it in certain places around the world as non-slaughtered meat. So if you see a package of chicken in your local supermarket and it has chicken breasts on it, and that package has a little thing that says non-slaughtered meat, you know that meat was grown in a laboratory. And if it tastes just like chicken, that is a cloned or grown piece of meat. Now, did it affect my diet, or are people running around saying I got cancer or something like that from eating that? Not yet. But if it can help deal with food I'm gonna screw up the word because I'm so far ahead of what my mouth can say. But if it can fill up those inefficiencies in the food space, then why not? I'm supportive of GMOs in that space because the GMO can grow in many different conditions and feed many different people. Once it does that, then you have to cut it out. And if clone body is going to save somebody's life, especially somebody's important or just someone that I love later on in the future, then hey, I morally, it's a question to be asked, and it's a much greater argument. But ethically, it could go in the same conversation. But when it comes down to the human experience, that's going to be the big question. And if we're talking about civil liberties, to do stuff like that ethically and morally with humans, it's going to get a little weird. So it might be better to just scrap that and say, you know what, use the same technology that we grow this meat off of, and the same way we are now taking cells from someone and using those cells to 3D print different things. Then there are other technologies instead of bringing a life in that you're just going to cut up and destroy. And that's the moral and ethical dilemma that we're going to face in the future. Now, maybe for some millionaire or billionaire type person, or billionaire class or trillionaire class, wherever the fuck this shit may end, they may have the money to do it. They may have the money to do it in a secret lab, and those will be the people that accessible to that technology. Other than that, go with just growing the organ that you need from a cell.
But one of the things though, AC, is you would have to find women and convince them to carry a brain damaged baby. That's number one. You'd have to find those type of women, and a lot of them, until you're able to create the artificial womb, so to speak. Then the next thing is there would be a constitutional issue. Generally a person who human beings cannot be property. Now there is a question of personhood, that because the Supreme Court, they haven't they don't really define things as like human beings, and they don't do that in law. They say persons. So the Supreme Court over time, they've tried to answer the question like what qualifies as a person and what is worthy of personhood. And they've not really answered that question so far. This might be the case, if it ever comes to this, that these clones do come about. This might come in where they ask the question: is this brain damaged person a person, or excuse me, is this brain damaged human body a person?
It is,
because there's the other thing of, I don't think, at least at this moment, I would have to look. I'm not aware of any statute or laws that make it illegal to clone a human being. Not that I'm aware of. I know there's ethical things where like scientists and doctors, they say to themselves, okay, like we can't experiment on human beings. Like what happens when like the child comes out deformed and the organs are just useless? What do? We just toss the fucking thing in the trash? Like there's all those type of ethical questions. But this might be a good test case about personhood, because in the case of, let's say you got into a really bad car accident and now you're catatonic and brain dead, it's up to your family whether to pull the plug on you. So let's say that the scientist in this case would sign on to be the legal father of this brain damaged baby, and that the surrogate mother would sign away all her rights. Technically, that makes the child, that the brain damaged catatonic clone, the property of the legal father, and it would be up to him if he wanted to sign on to the child / clone, or the adult, or the clone could grow up to all the way to be an adult on a feeding tube and a ventilator. Like, it would be their decision. Yeah, we're gonna use his organs, or we're gonna pull the plug because this isn't working. So I just think that would be like a really interesting like moral arguments on both sides.
The moral argument and the ethical argument and even the legal argument are all going to stem from a certain degree, and the precedent already exists. Because go to the Citizens United verdict handed down by the Supreme Court, to where they said a corporation, because a corporation is ran by people, the corporation itself becomes a living entity, which then, when you're writing certain things for the federal government, you have to distinguish between a person and a naturalized person. If you just say person, they're gonna think that that thing is something that's speaking to the terms of a company within the context of Citizens United. But a naturalized person, when you're writing your bylaws, that's the part where you're saying that your company, and we're talking either whether it's a nonprofit or a for-profit company, like a major firm, you still have to have bylaws. And the directors of that company, you know, they all have to be natural persons. They cannot be just an individual person, because if it's an individual, they're
But
going
the
to take it to
scary
be.
part about this, AC, sorry for cutting you off though, because I don't know if you read up on this. In World War II, the Japanese, they had this experimental program. I think it was called Unit 731, which literally it's like a sci-fi horror movie of like just epic scale and proportion, where they were taking POWs and undesirables from their society, and Chinese people and Korean people, like they would be raiding cities for children and shit like that, and they would send them into the program, and they would experiment on them without anesthesia. Like they would take a 2-day-old baby and dip his hand in ice cold water and just leave it there for days to see what would happen. Or they would cut open a man and then infect him with a specific type of disease to see how the disease interacts with him without anesthesia, and they would pump them full of adrenaline so they wouldn't be able to pass out or go into shock. It gets into like the scary part of that, because okay, if you could just pop up brain damaged human beings, that means you can now decide to do whatever you want with that body, especially if there's no oversight over what's going on. And I mean, like, if this, like, let's say they decide not to do this in the US. Let's say they decide to do this shit in Israel, where there's no constitution in Israel. They can really do whatever they want. And I mean, this is a brain damaged human being. They're not gonna really feel the pain. But I just feel like it feels icky. And it feels like, you know, because when you look up Unit 731, by the way, every doctor and scientist and experimenter, they got pardoned. Like, none of them ever saw the inside of a jail cell. And a lot of them went on to be doctors and presidents of universities over there in Japan. It's really sick shit. And they even had American POWs that were getting experimented on in there. Like, that's a little piece of history about Douglas MacArthur and the shit he was doing. But I just feel like that's a scary reality when, like, our moral, like where our morals are at and our red lines have really changed.
So here's where I'm at with it. I can go back to certain things and tie it together. Everyone is amazed, you know, and they had the movie about Oppenheimer and stuff like that, in the development of the H-bomb that was used on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. When they were testing these bombs, who do you think were in some of those bunkers? U.S. soldiers. To see what the effects of being around one of these blasts goes off. You were in a heavily protected building, but you were not exposed. You were not protected from the radiation fallout. When it comes down to black men and the U.S. experiments with the drugs and stuff like that, then the U.S. did during World War II some of the opium and LSD tests to see if we can bring people to the points of having these psychic powers and sixth sense and stuff like that. You feel what I'm saying? So this government has experimented on its own people, its prison population, and its military population, even the indigenous population. Now, when you talk about other countries, Germany, China, UK, all of these countries have these issues where they did experiments on their own people or their own military. And as a result of that, it caused such an ethical outrage that, these things have become banned. Like it's against the law to waterboard someone, torture and shit like that. So the first thing to happen is, for me, it's when you clone a human being, if we're talking about birthrights, and when do we define a human being, as in the Republicans trying to go after abortion clinics and stuff like that. This is the things that once you start cloning a human being, all of this stuff now comes to back to the forefront, and it has much, much more of a significant meaning to it. In the fact of saying, all right, as a woman, if you're going to say you want autonomy over your own body, if we want to give you that autonomy, and then you want to sign up for a program that says, yeah, you're going to take one of the sperm from a sperm donor, you're going to wait till you're ovulate, and then they're going to do the scientific stuff of making the egg fertile and then putting that back in you, and you're going to carry that baby to term. They're going to say, all right, what's different from that than the mother giving the child away, as opposed to the mother doing the same thing and signing the same paperwork to just give it to give the child to medical science. When we pass, or when you go to the hospitals at certain times or whatever in your life, you may be confronted that, all right, if something should happen to you, do you want your organs donated? And then we have to ask the question, was that unethical? And no, because it saved lives. So this is going to be a sticky, icky argument that's going to have serious ramifications of how we look at ourselves as humans. Are we humans that are property? Because if you can say that a human being can go back to being property, then you're also going down that slippery slope of some crazy politician and a crazy Supreme Court coming out and say, yeah, slavery is fine. Because we're growing humans we have farms of humans on some Matrix type stuff where humans are kept in this gel situation, kept alive and grown from infants, fed intravenously and stuff like that to be harvested.
Salute to my brother B3 Picks in the chat. Me and B3 actually had this conversation last week as well, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on it all.
Yeah, so you're talking about harvesting humans. Whether it's a part of a human, you're still talking about harvesting humans. Real Matrix type stuff. And it's being perpetrated not by machines, but by humans. So these are going to be some serious things that humanity is going to have to deal with. And I don't know how humanity is going to deal with it when we get there. You feel what I'm saying? It might be something that doesn't really happen in my lifetime. It may happen in, your kid's lifetime, that thing comes to a reality and people are really discussing it as far as moving towards the future. But I'm a person who says, you know what? At the end of the day, where cancer exists, the whole body is not dealing with cancer. The body is dealing with it right there if you can catch it early. There are healthy cells. If you can take those healthy cells and then clone or 3D print that body part, get rid of that body part and put back in the new one, then you're not violating anything. You took my own biological material, which I gave you consent for, and you grew something from that I can then, that's now going back into me. So I donated my body, my biological material, and now it's in the form of an organ, and you're gonna put that organ back inside of me. I don't think you're violating anything as long as you choose to go down that way. The lazy way to me is the cloning, even though it may have its benefits. But for me, the benefits in cloning a whole human might be military, not medical. You
Yeah,
feel
and
what
then
I'm
we get
saying?
into the AI of it all. I mean, what if one day, 200 years from now, an AI goes rogue and says, "I want to know what it's like to feel," and they decide, "I'm gonna take over one of these clone bodies, and I'm gonna figure out how to manipulate some human beings into taking care of my clone body." I'm sure one of these days they're gonna find a way to like figure out like a ghost in the shell situation where like they can digitize the human brain and the human mind, and then the AI could get into that clone body, and then they could go through rehab. You know what I'm saying? To get the feeling in the body so they could be strong and whatnot, and then they could move around. I mean, just we looking at a really, 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 really strange future ahead of us, AC.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I have to say it like this. It may get icky if we're talking about it in the text of just everyday life. But if you talk about it in terms of military, and if we're going to be putting boots on the ground, you feel what I'm saying? When a soldier gets his leg or something blown off, then guess what? He's got a clone body that they can just whop, sew that joint right back on you. You good to go. The body is not going to reject it because it's your own biological material. When you talk about space travel, right? Do you send the human or do you send the cloned baby into space? Because these trips are going to have time that baby may become an adult by the time it gets to its destination. And then you're now having a human / ghost in the shell type of thing, to whereas it's just a matter of maybe putting something in the wrist or something in the back of the head. You feel what I'm saying? And as everything comes online after you get to your destination, the AI then, plug the little thing and like a little cartridge, or it's almost like using a memory stick or whatever, and that goes inside the head, and now you're dealing with human consciousness that's downloaded on like a thumb drive that you can now put into a cloned artificial intelligent, half biological, half machine body that actually grew up in the conditions of space. So the harshness of it, you still have the compassion of humans. So it can get a little weird, it can get a little whatever, but we may find purposes that are beyond what we're thinking about right now. And for me, I'm always going to think of space travel first, and maybe the military if you're talking about some weird shit like this. That's where I can see the application actually making sense. But for me, it makes the most sense if you're talking about space travel.
Absolutely. So AC, that's all I got for you. We went through a lot of different topics. Oh, matter of fact, there was one more, and let's be brief on this, because I'm still at the dog. I'm trying to go home. But Mitchie Boy McConnell, AC, he's on his last legs. Mitchie Boy McConnell was hospitalized last month. They've been hiding him. Nobody knows where he has been. It was then reported that this man was in cardiac arrest. So he saw the pearly gates, and he's been hospitalized for almost a month now. And the Republicans have just been hiding him. And I think they're terrified to go to a special election in Kentucky. But what's your reaction to old boy Chuck? I said the pearly gates. What the hell is wrong with me? He's going to see the dark gates. He's going to see the three-headed dog Cerberus at the gates. That's what he's going to see. Them the gates he's going to.
Exactly. I'm going to say it like this, man. I was just reading an article actually earlier today. where they were saying, why are so many Republicans coming out their face and saying they spoke to Mitch McConnell? And they all give the same exact number. Well, I spoke to Mitch for 20 minutes. I spoke to Mitch for 20 minutes. I spoke to Mitch for 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And it's just
That's all you had
weird.
to say.
It's just weird that they all are using the same time frame that they say they spoke to Mitch McConnell. I believe the report that Mitch McConnell had a stroke. You feel what I'm saying? Do I believe Mitch McConnell is laying unconscious in a hospital? Yeah, I absolutely believe that. Look at
And then did you see his wife? Sorry to cut you. Did you see his wife then went to China?
Yeah.
To meet with Chinese politicians?
Yeah.
So that tells me all I know. The Chinese agent we were looking for was Mitch McConnell this whole time.
Yeah, exactly. So all I'm saying is that if Mitch McConnell is not there, you feel what I'm saying? For this administration to try to hide that factor, you know what I'm saying? You're doing yourself a disservice, because even if you have the special election and stuff like that, it's just how democracy is supposed to work. Mitch McConnell cannot come and make any votes. Mitch McConnell would need some sort of proxy based on, his mental abilities and stuff like that. So he's useless in Congress right now. That's the reason why Nancy Pelosi got out, because she was just like, look, I got too much shit going on at home. My husband is not there anymore, and I got to be there for him. Why can't the Republicans,
Well, one reason I think they don't want Mitch to come back is the war powers resolutions. He was voting for, I think he was voting for them to restrain Trump.
Yeah. And that's where we're talking about the actual letting democracy do what it do, where you can do all of this stuff with Mitch right now, but it's not going to help you. It's not going to make the your voting supporters support you, because they're going to be like, okay, so if Mitch was screwed up, why couldn't we just endorse another strong candidate in Kentucky? You know what I'm saying? Someone with very strong principles and stuff like that. But I think Massey came from Kentucky as well, correct?
Yeah, but the guy right now that they have up for nomination. What'd you say?
No, I said that's the problem, because the stupid MAGA people pushed out Massey. And if Massey would have stayed in, then, you can bring another Massey type Republican. Yeah, he doesn't rock with AIPAC, but when it came down to it, Massey has like a 90% voting in favor of what MAGA and Donald Trump was offering. So what's the real difference? Because he just doesn't fuck with AIPAC and shit like that? He's America first, but you still voted in lockstep with Trump.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, but either which way, fuck Mitch McConnell. That's really just my only reaction to this story. Just fuck Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
He's the reason why we're here. He's the reason why we have. He packed the Supreme Court. He packed it by delaying Obama from being able to choose his own Supreme Court justice. So we're here. It's Mitch McConnell's fault, and fuck him.
Yeah.
He's reaping the rewards of being evil, dumb son of a bitch for so many years. And I'm not gonna say God bless him. He's gonna have his day to talk to God, and God, if there is a God, and that higher power is gonna handle it. So I ain't got nothing to really say outside of that. Outside of the fact that I hope he suffers. Just being honest.
I'm pretty much in the same space, because the curtains are gonna go down on the mess you helped make for this country. And at the end of the day, if you felt, and there's a reason for a ghost to exist, I hope you become a ghost, Mitch, so you can see the work that you've done. You can see the damage that you've done. Maybe your mind just doesn't realize it these days and stuff like that. But you know, you got to pay for this shit, bro. And me, I hold no sympathy for you in your current situation. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be like, yo, listen, I'm pulling for Mitch. You know, I just want to send wishes and blah 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 to his family and stuff like. I know that will not come out of my mouth. This is what you deserve, Mitch, and this is if this is the way the curtains are gonna go down for you, then cool. Look at it. Remember, you did this. If you can, and if you know, if the curtains already went down and the Republicans don't want to admit it because they're trying to hold on to power and stuff like that, everything in the dark comes to light, and time is the great equalizer. So with that being said, it's only going to come back to haunt this administration and stuff like that. And Kentucky, I'd rather deal with Massey or someone Massey-like to take over Mitch McConnell's spot, you know, because even though you voted, you still showed a backbone where the backbone needed to be showed in certain areas. Other areas, you just did you and went along to get along. And at the end of the day, man, if you got what you deserve, Thomas Massey, and American First Republicans who are steaming and pissed off that, you know, you lost your race and stuff like that. Hey, this is Kentucky politics. So y'all got to deal with it. And at the end of the day, I'm not a person that's like, woohoo, great Kentucky politics. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm good with where everything stands right now. Y'all voted out your strongest asset, and now you're left with 2 blank spaces of shit you're gonna have to deal with. Great way to vote, Kentucky.
Yeah, shout out to. I pray that Charles Booker comes in and becomes the first black senator of the great state of Kentucky. Great man, great policies, anti-war, anti-Israel, pro-Medicare for all, anti-Trump. I mean, on the other side, they got a dude by the name of Andy Barr, and his whole thing is we have to stop the left-wing lunatic liberals who want trans surgery. I mean, it's just a rewrite of the 2024 script. I mean, I really hope that with all the economic damage that's going to be done by this war that's continuing, that the people of Kentucky wake up and elect Charles Booker, who, by the way, despite being a clean cut, served as an attorney for multiple years, got the most votes of any Democrat in decades. The last time he took on Rand Paul, I believe in 2023, for the Senate seat back then. You see Graham Platner, who from the beginning you could guess that he would turn out to be just an absolute piece of dog crap in his personal life with some of the things we were hearing and seeing. And he got basically the entire establishment and the anti-establishment Democrats' endorsements. Charles Booker, it's like crickets. Nobody, like Bernie's not inviting him to his events to talk about him. Bernie's not holding any events in Kentucky to sell this guy. Mamdani's not talking about him. Schumer's not talking about him, despite the fact Kentucky is a winnable seat. These people just elected a Democratic governor not even 2 years ago. But I'll peep these things.
I'll peep. Yeah, peep this. I remember him because he was in Kentucky, but he was one of the guys that I actually seen on some political shows that were telling people to vote for Stacey Abrams. You know what I'm saying? In her bid to run. So they're not going to support him because if my memory serves correctly, he was one of his face looks real familiar to whereas I think I did see him on, you know, some of the MSNBC when it was still MSNBC, talking about, I've done this work in Kentucky, I've done that work, and then during Stacey Abrams' run, they asked him, he was like, look, she's a great candidate, she's the one that, you know, everybody should be behind, she has great ideas and stuff like that, and it's just what it is, you know, and that's the part where for me, with the thing that you just said about him, with the fact that, you know, those who are on that side of being progressive and stuff like that, why are you not talking about this guy? You feel what I'm saying? To whereas you're gonna have to start to like really look at and say, all right, are you a populist, or are you a real progressive looking to actually move the needle and get policy done? This is a guy who's talked about policy getting done. Even when he was early, he was talking about some of the things he wanted to do for the people of the state of Kentucky, and especially in the space of healthcare in Kentucky and education in Kentucky. At least those were the things that I was hearing early on. You know, I don't know where his political stances are completely right now, but this was the stuff he was talking about early on, and I was like, yeah, he's kind of in line with the Stacey Abrams type stuff. And she lost, and you didn't hear anything about him really from him until, you know, like this type of election right now. So again, it's the policies and where people are going to vote in certain places. It's saying this, and this might be a harsh reality. If you're coming at this situation and you're looking to be a black progressive, you might not get the vote because you're still within that space of being black. You feel what I'm saying? Mamdani is where he's at because, in my opinion, a lot of people came out and voted for him because his anti-Israel stance and the fact that he's Muslim, and when you're looking at what's going on, it's these views against Muslims. So it's some weird stuff like that that's going on. That's kind of like saying, okay, your policies are shit. So how did you get elected? So it's got to be more than the stuff that you promised, because we're already in, and that stuff hasn't been delivered. Why didn't Stacey Abrams win the 2 times she ran? And those were winnable races for her. But it was the voting population that didn't vote for her. Her policies were strong. Again, looking at Kentucky and him, and you're talking about the first black person, it's not going to happen. And politics, whether it's progressives, Democrats, and certain types of Republicans, it's just not going to happen for the black candidate.
We can pray and hope.
Progressiveness seems to have, right now, within the voting population, it's not colorblind. You feel what I'm saying? When it came down to looking at the Texas race, yeah, you voted for the white guy, but policy-wise, committee-wise, and everything else, that shit should have went to Jasmine Crockett, hands down. So we gotta, it's gonna be a little bit weird, man. It's gonna be a little bit weird, and there's gonna be a fracture in the way this stuff is looking. It's telling me that going into 2028, there's gonna be some serious internal beefs, and the Democratic Party may be looking at it being split into 3 different sections going into 2028. Progressives, and then a far left progressive, and then Democrats. Far left progressives are not ready to vote for a black progressive person. And it's just some weird stuff that I don't know where these people come from. Like, if you're saying you're progressive, it doesn't matter the color, you should be colorblind. If you're progressive,
Well, I think the defining issues are going to be Israel, healthcare for all. Yeah, I think those, and then AI. I think those are going to be the three defining issues on how the coalitions are going to form on the left. And you're going to have people like Ro Khanna, who are a little bit more moderate in their ideas. I mean, he's a Silicon Valley guy, but he does believe in taxing billionaires. He does believe in Medicare for all. He does believe in cutting our ties with Israel. So he's somebody who could fit in there. And I think not only that, he has the experience. I mean, he has the credibility from his work with the Epstein files to reach across the aisle as well and to pull some of those voters in when he runs for president. But and also I think he has the ability to center himself in the middle of this coalition, because Hakeem Jeffries, if this trend continues, he might become the speaker this fall, or I mean by next year January. He might be Speaker of the House by next year January. But after that, I don't see him staying in that job too long, because he is literally a zealot for Israel. Anything Israel does or says, he will never criticize them. I don't think he's even criticized Benjamin Netanyahu. Like, he's just like a punk and a boy for those boys. But anyway, AC, we've been up here a long time. Oh, my brother Jay Gibb, always coming at the end. Always late, but never on time. But I mean, always late, but always on time. That's what I meant. But salute to you. I mean, what do you mean you're not voting Democrat again? What that mean, Jay Gibson? So who you voting for? You voting for MAGA boys? Who you voting for, Jay Gibson? So what you do? You just gonna throw your vote away? You gonna vote on some Green Party people? You gotta explain that to me, Jay Gibson. I don't get it. I don't get people who say I'm never voting Democrat again. Like, if you look at, like, if you were just to line up both parties, like, if you want to decrease the deficit, you would vote for a Democrat. Like, go through Republican administration after Republican administration from Bush Senior 1 to Bush Jr. Then you go to Donald Trump. All of them have decreased the deficit. You want less wars, you go for a Democrat. You want better outcomes for healthcare, you would go with the Democrat. Like, it's just line after line after line after line. I could just, either which way. Okay, Jay Gibson. Yeah, you odd guy. You an odd guy. I'm not even gonna touch that. But either way, AC, it was great talking to you. We're gonna pull up and we're gonna chop it up even more next week. As always, my brother, it's great talking to you. Shout out to everybody that came through in the chat. If you're watching the playback, please hit the like button. I have surpassed, or excuse me, I am now at 451 subs, so I'm less than 50 subs away from 500 and applying to get partially monetized, so people can start buying my memberships. People can start sending me super chats and gifts and whatnot. So I need all y'all support. I need everybody to be on. I need all hands on deck. I need all the likes I can get so that y'all can push this algorithm. Thank you so much once again for coming through, and me and AC will catch y'all next week.
Yeah, for
Peace.
sure.
Peace.
General Bodo and the slaves them coming. Freedom is what they shouting. Cross the Panday, they drum them beating. The whole land outside, I could hear them coming. So long in slavery, so long control me. Take away my dignity, my friends and my family. Now that it's all clear, emancipation here, and get slavery out of the way. garden, Peteress and Princess, King's Hill, Bethlehem and Go places, Coble, jealousy and gloom. They banded together to reach Western Peace forenoon. So long in slavery, so long control me. Take away my dignity, my friends and my family. Now that it's all clear, emancipation here, get slavery out of the way. Fed up and they frustrated. It's high time that this slavery done with. Tired and suffering, they plan to do something like fire and brimstone, man, see how they marching. So long in slavery, so long control me. Take away my dignity, my friends and my family. Now that it's all clear, emancipation here, we get slavery out of the way. With mashers, lantern and bow stick, they come into port and to the bullwhip. They mind make up, enough is enough. They come into call and show to take love. So long in slavery, so long control me. Take away my dignity, my friends and my family. Now that it's all clear, emancipation here, we'll get slavery out of the way.